Ghost pipes, wide bodies.
I ain't even worried about it. We riding wide bodies. We riding wide bodies. That's why we all got them. I ain't even worried about it. We riding wide
What is
bodies.
going
We
on?
riding
Who is
wide
that
bodies.
over there, man?
Long cut.
Oh, shit.
Hey, man. Will Grimes, my
Listen,
man.
man. What's
What
up,
is
bro?
up, dude?
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Hey, be careful. My arms are
I
strong.
know. I just ripped my elbow out of socket.
Watch that. There's not too many times people get to take my, hey, happy Friday.
Yeah,
right?
dude. Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. That shit was a lot cooler.
Let's do it.
So we're going to get right into it. However, before we get too crazy with this, so a longtime friend of mine was in the Marine Corps with me. Now he's a big deal and he's a rock star. He gets to come hang out with us. Gave us his time. JT Adams from Long Cut.
What is going on?
So before we get started, because I know we're drinking, we got some shit to talk. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about your day $1 but we got some fun stories to reflect on because I haven't seen you in a couple years.
It has,
so
man.
we're gonna have a blast. And before that happens, kind of like when you go to let me share some suburbia with you.
I'm in it.
When I
That's
go to
where we're at.
when I go to Thanksgiving with my family, I got the kiddos and the wifey and everybody ready to go. We get pictures right when we get there. Because if kids spill food on their shirt and whatever, it's fucked. So before we all get smashed and high and whatever we're doing, right? I want to make sure people know where to find Long Cut's
Right.
music, where to find it. First and foremost, right? It's country, it's hip hop.
Yeah, it's something
everything
new.
you need, dude. I love it in the gym.
Right.
And I don't love it. Matter of fact, I don't love it just because it's you. If anything, I would fucking not love it because it's you, because you used to rap about us and make fun of us in the Marine Corps. We couldn't
Dang.
say shit about it.
So you're an honest critic.
I'm an honest critic. Your shit's just good. I
Thanks,
love it in
man.
the gym. It's good to roll to. I don't know what you guys call it. It's country. It's rap. It's
Man,
everything,
it's,
man.
Oh, it's music, man. And that's just what's happening
That's
with
such an
everything.
artist thing to say.
I know it
Well,
is,
it's
dude. It's true.
it's just music is coming together, and where it's not defined by a certain genre as much as it used to be. And so being able to see that happening and have the mentors in the industry tell you like,
Yep.
hey, this is a good direction, and you're humble enough to listen, dude. We created something new,
Yeah,
and it's Long Cut.
I feel like I kind of created it.
Okay, tell me more.
Let me explain.
Okay,
You're such a good friend.
I think
bro.
I'm putting my jacket
Such
back
a good
on.
friend.
Back when I would be in my car, like in the Marine Corps when CDs still existed, I had country CDs and rap CDs in my car. I felt like at some point that might have caught on to him.
Ah,
You know? I didn't mean like I made the music. I just feel like the idea.
what was I listening to before?
I wasn't ready for rhetorical. But before you bash me on my own podcast, because it's going to happen today. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
feel
yeah.
it. I want to make sure guys know where to find you. So it's rap, it's country,
absolutely.
it's music. It's great. We have a great time with it. Obviously, I am partial because you're a great friend of mine. But
Thanks.
where do guys find you at, man?
Well, hey, Long Cut, country hip hop. It's something new that's just kind of taken over music. It's actually the fastest growing genre of music out right now. So Long Cut, we just dropped our new album, our first album, the debut album called Spit
I was
Cup,
buyer
dog.
number one.
Called Spit Cup. Hey,
like
you
it.
were along the way of the journey with me.
Yeah.
I was bouncing a lot of songs off Will, and because I know he's going to be honest with me.
hell yeah.
And that's what makes him a good friend.
Yep, that's true.
You know,
man.
is that
That's
honesty.
fucking true.
Even though sometimes you're like, God dang, Will.
Don't. Hey, listen to me.
But hey, you know,
All right, so you can find Long Cut on iTunes.
You can
Spotify.
find it on everywhere, man. So Long
Dude,
Cut.
you're legit. I found you, so I was posting a story. I'm cutting you off.
No,
Sorry
go
about
ahead.
that.
I love it.
Everything's the same, isn't it?
This is your
Some
world.
things never change. I was putting a story up on Instagram today and on Facebook to say that he was going to be here today. And when I clicked on music to add music to my story, the shit found him.
Hell yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, like that.
Yep.
You're legit.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a
Goddamn.
while, man. It took a while, and it feels good to finally have a project, a product and a project that not only do I believe in, but other people are getting on board too, because that just stimulates more motivation for the next album. So the album Spit Cup, it came out November 22nd, went number 25 on the top 100 for iTunes.
Damn, bro.
Number 1 on Amazon pre-orders.
Hell yeah.
And so this definitely has a huge market for us to
Yeah.
dive into. And so releasing that, we have over 200,000 streams since that, just on the album.
That's like right where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
And it's a good number. It's
That's
a good
awesome,
number,
dude.
man. And it got 7 new songs on there. And when I say new, before we dropped the album, we had 18 back-to-back singles.
Yeah, dude.
18 weeks, 18 tracks. No one's doing that.
It's just awesome.
No. Yeah,
You're
you know?
talented, man.
You're talented.
When you've got, when you're able to just produce content like that, man, whether it's in business, lyrics as far as music, when you can just spit like that, why not? You know, it's great. So
Well, I think it took a full circle for me to find who I was.
now hold on a minute.
Yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to say. How did you find yourself? Get that?
Well, I took a ride on Progress Circle.
Bro, hey, it's true. If you guys don't know where I live, I live on Progress Circle. So fucking
And that's where you want to be, man. It's
right,
Progress
dude.
Circle. So I'm nothing but smiles today.
Well,
So we've cleared. Hold on a minute,
Yeah.
because you got questions too.
a question.
We got it. We got it
What?
out. iTunes, Spotify,
Yeah,
Google
yeah.
Play,
Oh,
Facebook,
everywhere.
Instagram, Long Cut.
Brother, there's
what's your
stuff
YouTube?
out.
You're on YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, on YouTube. And,
Yep.
and guys, there's like hundreds of different ways that people listen to music. That's
Yeah.
what's really
Yeah, it's
cool.
true, man.
Yeah.
Is that I'm seeing it overseas with different platforms.
Yeah.
And so we're on those platforms as well. So no matter how or when or what you want to listen to, we're there.
You're
Awesome.
like the MMA of music, bro.
Yeah, all
Right?
mixed
You're
up.
taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
Yep.
making your own shit, having fun.
Mixed music assholes.
Yeah.
I like it, man.
MMA.
I like it. So
good,
Just
I'm
mix
gonna
it
give,
up, man.
Wait, now you got a question?
No,
Eli.
you're good, man. Go
All
for
right,
it.
so we're gonna give a little. And forgive me if I'm moving my mic, because this is if you're a fan of Day 100, this is our first guest that we've had. So I'm making sure I try to stay in and out of the frame. If you guys can't see, well, you can't see because I'm talking. These guys are smoking weed together, being productive.
Yeah.
I like it. Put that back on me,
Vaping, bro.
Don't show minors that, but just a little
Minors.
context. So, as far as JT and like, hey, why he's here and all that, and why he's giving us his time. Him and I go back to the Marine Corps. We were instructors together at division schools for urban assault leaders course, and that's where I met him. And
Good days.
great, we're gonna get into that.
Good
So we
days.
met as instructors. I showed up. I was one of the instructors that came slightly after him. I didn't come from the same unit
You were
he came
a threat. Grimes was a threat.
Was he?
Dude, he showed up all big, squared away. You had a gym bag with you, and in that gym bag was different Tupperwares.
Oh God,
Oh,
really?
bro, he was,
Man,
and he's eating it with a plastic fork.
that's awesome.
Cold
Is
rice.
chicken and rice.
Cold
and shit?
rice with
We didn't
chicken
have a
and-
microwave.
Right. So it was rice, chicken, and mustard.
So,
I used to just put mustard on it.
bro, we're gonna have to have like dinner or something after it. I have so many questions for you. Like,
Oh, it's coming. It's
I have
coming.
so many
Yeah.
questions for
It's
you,
coming.
dude.
I got answers, man.
I was speaking to someone prior. I'm not going to mention any names, but I was speaking to someone that was in the Marine Corps during the time that we were in, and I knew her for a while and whatnot, and we were passing some stories back and forth and yada yada, and apparently they had an action figure for me too, Grimes time,
I believe it.
and she, and I got
They
the
sold
photo
it at the PX.
It's just fucking.
It came
I showed it
free
to you.
with a pair of
So
chevrons.
Yeah,
fucking
shit was
funny,
funny, man.
bro.
And she, and look, that's
So
just
you're
Marine's
you're
type
for
of
real.
shit.
You had an action figure.
Well, it was on the computer. It didn't actually have my name
had
on
a-
it. A Marine fucking put the acronym on it. I'm
And
sure it was somebody way
I'm gonna
cooler.
pull it up. I actually
No,
I got
fucking
it on
pull
there.
it up.
Yeah.
But we were instructors together, and we were talking this morning on the phone, and I'm glad we were, because we were talking about camaraderie and different things. And man, people get camaraderie fucked up. Like, people that have never had camaraderie tend to talk about it a lot nowadays. So JT was already at division schools, and some of the instructors that were at division schools came from the same unit
Okay.
to be instructors, right? Like, some of them kind of knew each other. And if they didn't know each other, these guys had been instructors for a bit. And I was like one of the select few that was coming in.
One of the
solo.
new guys coming in. Right?
I was the only guy from my unit coming
Yep,
over, and it was an interesting time, man, because like, you don't know these guys, but like, you're confident with your ability and what you do. But when you walk in, like, you don't know a fucking thing. Okay, like, you're not teaching shit. You don't know shit. It doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done, how you come, nothing. You like that? I'm rapping now. You like that,
Dude, the thing is though, is that in order to be an instructor, you just couldn't just fill out an application. You had to know somebody.
Did you have to be? You say you had to be like selected, or
I wouldn't say
Yeah.
the word selected.
Well,
'cause
kind of
it's
like
not
how we're treating that men's group. It's invite.
Right.
It's invite only. And what they
Gotcha.
don't want to have is like guys go
An
be
interview
instructors.
process.
Correct.
yeah?
And what they didn't want to have happen was guys become instructors like a year before they get out of the Marine Corps, and they're going there to chill.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
dude, this is a time of war. You're training Marines to be proficient. You're gonna come and work your fucking balls off, and you're
Gotcha.
gonna be here because you want to instruct,
Yep.
not because you're trying to have senioritis and just
Yep.
cruise on your way out.
Yep.
So they were trying to make sure that none of that happened. So it was kind of like a speakeasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an invite only.
So you were going through their instructor
Bro,
training,
I was
right?
I was the Mount Chief instructor.
Oh,
when,
no shit.
When Will showed up, I just took over.
So what does MOUT stand for? Because we
Military Operations and Urban Terrain. Dog,
Oh,
what's up?
He's a
Yeah, man.
shit, that's
Dude,
awesome.
big shout out to Guardiola. Every time I hear the word Mount, I think of Victor
I
Guardiola.
fucking love G.
Yeah, man, he's doing his thing down in Dallas.
Yep.
He's still down there.
He is.
Serving and
He's a cop.
protecting.
Oh,
Yeah, him and I, I was a cop for a long time.
Yep, I knew that.
And him and I would link up on Facebook and chit chat every once in a while. And
Your selfie game was on point when you were a cop.
bro, I'm just listen, man. If you're watching this podcast, we had a poll nationwide the other day. I'm top 5 in America for best
Nationwide.
looking.
I believe it.
Was it top 5? Yeah, self-proclaimed, whatever.
I
Top
would
five.
swipe right, bro.
I would too, man. I did.
Swipe right.
I
Yeah,
did. Swipe
I
right.
did swipe right.
Yeah.
So you guys know I come with the thunder. I'll put some
That's
fucking
right.
pain.
That's right.
Gotta be ready.
So he comes kicking in the fucking
Yeah,
door.
so it was
I
kind of
didn't
a
kick
select-
Tupperware.
Dude, that's one thing I think that I want to be honest about was that he came in, like when LeBron James steps on the court.
Right,
and you
right.
don't know who LeBron James is, let's say.
Yeah.
But you can just kind of look.
There's something different.
You're like,
There's something different.
something different, right?
Yep.
So he steps in, he's got his head down, he's humble, he's asking questions, and immediately stepped right in and took people's jobs. And I think that's why him and I really kind of came together with Victor and some of the other senior instructors. He became a senior instructor very fast, and was a huge asset in our program for us to train Marines. And that's what made it fun is that we are the ones that selected the material.
Yep.
Who's going to teach it? And to have a guy like that, another tool like that, it was one of the best courses. And actually, in that time, they wrote about it.
Yeah.
It was the best infantry course
Really?
a Marine could go through.
It was all.
We
it
had
was all combined
non-Marines.
arms.
We had
Yes.
even non-Marines, civilians coming through our course.
Yeah,
Damn,
man. We had
bro.
LA SWAT come through when I was there. We had a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff, man. And
The
we were
female engagement team, the first evolution
Listen,
to
female
train
engagement
females
never
for
heard
combat.
of it.
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
I was.
God damn.
No, I was no. And it was good, and it was we were writing doctrine for modern warfare, man.
Yeah.
And, but I'm glad you say like, hey, he was coming up and he was quickly becoming like a chief, or a lead instructor and things like that. But listen, there was days where JT wanted to beat my ass. There was days where Guardiola would be like, Grimes, shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
right? Like it.
Yeah.
And this is where
Yeah.
look at him smiling. So this is where I want to talk about camaraderie, right? And we're gonna get into day $1.00 and
Yeah.
stories and music and all that stuff, but relationships matter, right? And I think that's going to be a big point to the podcast today as far as like your day $1.00 and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. We've talked about it before, how important relationships are.
Right.
Relationships matter. And there's a lot out there with men's groups and just society and all of these cliche fucking quotes online.
Saturated.
Yep.
Saturated.
Pictures of white buffaloes and
dude,
shit.
And we're going to get to that. Too. I'm glad you said it.
The White Buffalo is a strip
Bro.
club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bro, we're gonna
Probably,
Hey, listen,
yeah.
order that photo. It's gonna be on the podcast. But there's just a lot of that stuff out there, and people talk a lot about camaraderie, and they're calling each other brother, and hey, good job, brother,
Yeah.
and way to go, brother. No, brother, that's not camaraderie. You're a dipshit. Listen, camaraderie. It's just not what people think. So even though these guys supported me and I was doing my thing, it's not like they fucking like
What
me every
happens
day.
in the suck stays in
Yeah,
the
no,
suck.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
dude, it's true. And I was talking to him this morning about this kind of stuff, and I'm like, look, man, camaraderie is like if him and I were to go, if we were to get into a firefight, or if him and I were to go to a bar and someone was talking trash, like, look, he's got my back.
Yep.
He's got me. I'm a Marine. Like, we're brothers because of birth. Okay, but like, they're hard on you. No, they don't always like you. They're gonna talk shit to you. The whole thing is like they're trying to break you. They're gonna, and that's just a culture that's been a part of the Marine Corps at every level. You know, so when I become an instructor, like, yeah, dude, those like people would push my fucking buttons, and they would try to see like what makes me tick. Am I full of shit? Am I all bark, no bite?
Right.
Am I smart? Am I proficient? Like, where's your breaking point? I don't have a breaking point. Not for you, motherfucker.
Yep.
But they're gonna try to fucking push it. But at the same time, I'm holding my own, and I'm doing what I need to do, and like that proves something to them. And then over time, dude, and over earning the relationship, it gets better. And we'll get into Mountain Town.
Well, I think that's the journey is supposed to be.
Well,
You're supposed to go
supposed
through
to
the
be.
pain, dog.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's my thing, man. Like, if we're not friends right away, what's the big fucking deal?
Yep.
Why should I be your friend right away? And if we had a podcast talking about this, and I kind of went off because
I got a no new friend rule.
Did I get like did I have an asterisk by my name?
You were grandfathered
Was
in.
I?
You were
I appreciate
grandfathered in.
that, bro.
That's how the Marine Corps
No
works.
new friend rule.
Hey,
That
he's
means
with
a
me.
lot, dude. That means a lot.
Hey, he's Jewish, but he's with me. It's all good. You know, like don't trip. The Marine Corps is
awesome.
cheap too. You'd fit right in.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, like we fucked each other up, but it wasn't to be an asshole. It looked assholey, but it was really just to see kind of like what guys are made of, man. And
but
if
you all
were-
kind of get it, right?
yeah, I know, dude. I understood it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
think-
here's what's fun about the Marine Corps: as you pick up rank, you're always new. So someone just ahead, he's always fucking with you, But at the instructor level,
We knew what was right and we knew what was wrong.
yeah,
And so
We
when
did.
you're wrong, that camaraderie is gonna call you out.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
Period.
it might just be you're wrong because you're fucking new. Like I remember one time, I don't know what it was about, but Manny fucking and hey Manny, I know you're watching or you're gonna be watching if you're not watching right now. Because I told Manny you were gonna be on today. And it's like,
Cool,
hey,
man.
call me so I can talk shit. And I said, no, man, get your ass to fucking Denver and be on the podcast. But there was one time where like you were saying something to me, dude, and you and I ended up like yelling back and forth. And like Manny was like, "Hey, come here, dog. Eat something. Sit down." And he sits me into one of the offices on the couch.
That's awesome.
And he's like, "Just chill out,
Eat
man."
a hua bar, dog.
But you and I were arguing about something, probably something fucking stupid, or maybe we thought it mattered at the time. But again, it's,
Some of my best friends came from that time in my life.
well, and it was
'Cause
again
of
like
camaraderie.
yeah, well, because here's the thing: when you're a new instructor, right? Like you're gonna earn your keep. So guys are gonna test you. Some of it is testing you as in to make sure, like, look, we want to make sure you know your shit. There's testing that way, but there's also testing of like when there's downtime, just pushing your fucking buttons, just trying to get under your skin and like see what makes you tick. What are you gonna break? You fucking weak? Because it doesn't matter how much you know. If you're fucking weak, you're out of here. You're not gonna. Hey, you're not gonna last, bro. Right? So there's a core within the core, right? And every some units have that. Instructors, we definitely have that because we're coming from different units, so we think we know best.
I feel like
So
that
we
was
challenge each other.
kind of like the first year of our relationship. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what was happening. I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, I did that. When you did that to me. Yeah, I know exactly what you're fucking talking about.
But hold on a minute. To my
Little
defense,
training.
Oh my
to my
god,
defense,
bro.
listen, it's not my fault. That's just who I am. It's been
Dude,
fucking
Every
every
car ride. Why'd you fucking go this way? Why'd you turn that way? Why are you in this lane? Why aren't you moving over here?
Oh,
The entire fucking time.
why are you
All
in the
time.
slow lane all the way downtown though?
Hey man, just
That's a
let
legit
him
question.
drive. let him drive.
See,
I
that's the problem.
No, fuck that. I was a driver.
Oh,
Don't fucking
that's
go.
the best. That's the most
Hey,
important role.
I'm a driver.
A driver, man.
I'm a driver.
And in his defense, he does offer, that's where I'm a control freak and I would rather just drive despite putting up with that.
Yeah.
But he's
Well,
all
that's
good
where
now.
you
That
and
was
I
just
are
like
the
our
same.
first year.
I allow Brian, my better half of Long Cut, if
Yeah.
you would say, he's the driver, man.
Yeah.
I get behind the wheel. It's the same thing.
Yep.
I'm getting ridiculed, and he'll just tell me, "Pull over, dog."
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
done.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
But here's the thing. I don't do that as much anymore.
no, you don't.
Because he's a better driver. See how that fucking worked out, man? Like he graduated.
That's
Eli
awesome.
has his wheels.
I actually do
approved.
think I improved.
Well,
I
I want to see. I want to see Grimes with this prize that I
Oh,
brought
shit.
for him,
What you
and,
got?
and you, Eli.
What you got,
I've
man?
been dodging this.
Yeah, dude, I got it right here.
Let's check it out.
You hear that, future guests?
So
he
I
comes bringing gifts.
I don't know if you guys collect Walmart baggies, but you can have these. These are yours.
Hell yeah,
The
dude.
bags too?
The bags too.
Yeah.
So Eli, this one's yours,
Oh
and
man.
Grimes, that one's yours.
Why is this one? What's up with
And
this?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, bro. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
All right, this is
man.
going on right now.
Hey, you know why this
These are
one's
dope.
mine? Because this is fucking all
I
of
know.
drab.
All of the
Action.
drab action.
I know exactly.
Yeah, and you look good in gray, Eli.
Hell, dude. Gray's literally
I knew
my
it.
favorite fucking color.
Well,
That's
that's
because
what
you're middle of the road, little
that's what
bitch.
your profile said.
dude, that's awesome.
I like it. Did
Long
you hear me
cut
on
up.
that gray
Look good.
color?
I love it.
Gray's like middle of the road. You don't want to take a stance on anything, so everybody
No,
likes
man.
you. I'm being funny.
No. Gray's modern, trendy.
So we had
It's good.
so we're at division schools, right? So I kind of earned my keep the first time we go to Mount Town, right? So now that you guys know Mount is like urban operations, right? So we have this huge town. We've got underground fucking water, like underground water systems. You got 6-story buildings. It looks like a real
A
city.
kid died in that sewer system,
Oh,
Yeah.
smoked out
really?
before our time.
It
It might be. It might be a lie.
It might be an urban legend.
It might be the
Someone-
Lance Corporal Underground.
And then the body's fucking still there. So, but so we so this is where we do.
dog.
So this is where we do a lot of training, right? This is where infantry. So urban assault leaders course is for leadership. It's for squad leaders going through. You get away from your unit. You're coming to this leadership school to learn how to be a leader. You can't learn on your own Marines. You got to go be proficient. You got to go be around leaders, and you got to be in a place where it's okay to fail,
Yep.
right? And come and learn from us. So we're taking them through that, and we do some combined arms effects. You got machine gunners. You got scout sniper stuff. We had artillery there, machine gun leaders course. There's a couple of different things we did as far as combined arms, but a lot of that was again training. But it's a huge city because you're trying to mimic the Middle East, right? So we're going over that stuff.
We cheated so much. Those students didn't have a chance.
I never. We had pistols.
Oh, dude.
Fuck that.
Oh,
What?
dude.
We cheated because we were fucking gunslingers. Hold on a minute, though. I'm giving context. When I'm on stage rapping in a couple months, you're gonna help me out. So here's context of. So we've got some friction. Now, when I became an instructor, they had just finished a course. Okay. So these guys had just got done training some guys, and then we had a month and a half of downtime before like the next course was starting. So we were revamping training. Some of us new guys were learning how to do public speaking and train on content. And there was some downtime, which means they're fucking with you. Yeah. So I came at just a jolly old time, right?
Sounds like it.
It was great. Now, we get a new course starting. That's when, like, the joking stops.
Yeah.
For the most part. We're still fucking around having fun, but we're
not playing that much foosball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But flip the switch. Now it's time to instruct and be out in long nights. And then we get to the portion where we're going to Mountain Town.
Okay.
And, dude, we'll stay out there for a fucking week, right? And, like, you train him, and we go nonstop all day, all night. There's different stuff going. And as instructors, there's only a handful of us out there. And if you're the guy that, like, falls asleep at night, you're a bitch. Mm-hmm. You want to stay up at night and run out. And we'll do little shifts. You might get an hour's sleep here
for
or there.
For the week.
Yeah, really? For the entire week, man. And look, dude, you got to train them. These guys got to be ready for war. So we're doing that. That's where everyone started to bond. That's where, like, JT and I and some of the other guys, that's where we got to see, like, okay, who's really, like, worth the shit? Who's going to put the time into being an instructor? Who's going to stay up late? You know, who's going to go on the op force? Right. Pistols. And that's not cheap, man. We have fucking pistols,
It was a
bro.
blast.
We fucking murked them.
Oh, I loved it.
We had a great time. We got teams of two. And this is why, listen to me. If you don't think you're from Texas.
That's right.
He's got country music in him.
Texas, baby.
But he's got hip hop and he's got rap in him from that. Dude.
I get it from my mama.
This fucking guy was, dude, you were grilling a squirrel.
I was bored.
Fuck that. You ate it. You weren't bored. You were hungry. So we're out there. It's fucking Halloween.
Awesome, dude.
It's fucking Halloween. So Pito's girlfriend, we're going to talk about Pito. Pito's girlfriend hooks him up with like a ton of Halloween candy. He brings it out. He brings it out to the field. So we're kind of hanging out in like these Connex boxes. If you guys know what Connex boxes, they look like an old school trailer on the back of a semi. And we kind of have all of our gear in that, but we put some canopies up and we kind of camp out there and stuff. So we're eating a bunch of Halloween candy. And you and someone else, probably Guardiola, I don't know, grilling up a fucking squirrel, eating that shit, trying it out, said it tastes like chicken. We're having some fun, but that's where we really started to bond, man. And so, and what I'm getting at when it comes to like relationships is just earning your keep as far as like, you've got to bring value to relationships. And if people don't like you right away, there's a difference between just being a blatant asshole and kind of being an asshole to see if you're, and it's different than Marine Corps because we had to train Marines. So this wasn't me just meeting you guys at a bar and your friend just being an asshole to me because he doesn't know me. Right. That's not what I'm getting at. We had to train Marines. So it was like the friction in the asshole part was like, hey, man, we're going to be hard on you because we take pride in training Marines. So if you're here to fuck off or if you can't take the pressure, you're a bitch. Yep. And then we don't want you here. Yep. We're glad you broke. Yep. Go back wherever the fuck you came from. You've got to kind of earn your keep in those moments. But then once we hit to the, into the field and you're training and everyone's on the same page and they can see that you're there for the right reasons, they kind of welcome you in. So my first mount week of being an instructor, that's where they first kind of like welcome you in if you can make it that far as an instructor. We give him the
mask that's broken.
Yeah, it was broken.
It was.
I got shot in the fucking neck.
You got to hold it up with your left hand.
What mask?
Yeah. So we shot.
So simunition rounds.
We shot each other with.
Listen, so when you're in, I forget. Sometimes I have to break it down simplistically.
9mm sesame rounds.
Right. So he doesn't even know what sesame is, and that's okay. So
I don't even know what sesame is.
So when we're in Mountain Town, we're training these guys on urban warfare.
Yeah, try that one.
So you have. Everybody has their real rifles, their real pistols, but you change the barrel out. So it's kind of like an intense game of paintball, but you're using real training, and you're getting attacked, and you're going to have to like envelop on the enemy and take them down. Like we run those scenarios the entire, like for weeks, man. Now, simunition hurts because if it were just paintball Paintball kind of hurts.
That paintball fucking hurts,
No,
bro.
man, not compared to simulation. Bro.
Really?
Well, also,
No,
you
bro.
could, like he's saying, you could just take off the upper barrel of
Right.
your rifle.
Right. It
So
was
you
the same
still
rifle.
loaded it with a magazine.
Right.
And it still hit.
It's
the
still
primer
shot.
still shot.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
It's a
coming.
bullet.
It's
Yeah, it's
coming.
coming.
It's coming like Progress Circle, bro.
Yeah.
It is there. It is
Bro, it's
staying
coming at you.
on your ass.
Shit.
But here's why. If it's just paintball, then guys are gonna play fucking hero
You're right.
and fucking Rambo and run around and not be
right.
realistic. But if you get shot by one of these and it breaks fucking skin, dude, we've had guys where the whole round didn't break because it was cold outside and it just sticks in their fucking arm.
Damn.
Or their fucking neck.
Damn.
I remember Pito kicked the kid in the head because he got it was over and Pito was too close to shoot him on the stairs.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, you're dead," and the
Dead,
fucking
yeah.
kid shot him in the neck.
I remember
and
that.
Pito beat the fuck out of that kid.
remember that.
Dude, Pito had a fucking golf ball in his neck and it was bleeding out. Like it hurts, man. But it's simulation rounds are supposed to hurt. That way, when someone's shooting at you,
You don't want to get shot.
you know
yeah,
it.
You don't want to get
you
shot.
take cover and you start using tactics to get through it.
Yeah.
Not just fucking around playing laser tag or playing paintball. So that was, we had a good time with that, man. And
And I think that was our reward too.
yeah,
we
'cause
worked. We worked
fuck these students up.
very, very hard. It was a 1 month course.
Yep.
3 weeks of it in the class, and then you get that 1 week of just to let loose on the ones that you wanted to just let loose on.
guys that come to school and they want to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we talked about that agent that came to our office?
Yep, asking for advice, and then,
And then
hey,
she wants to tell me
yep.
how it is. Hey, you're in my house.
Yep.
So you got guys going through urban assault leaders course and like they got all the answers and they know better. Like, okay. Noted. He likes that. Noted.
Noted.
Noted. And we're
like,
coming
God
for
damn
you.
it.
Eli would
damn
be a
it.
sniper.
Maybe.
Would I?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think
He's
he'd
like,
be a sniper.
maybe.
I don't know about your physical condition too much. I just met you, but mentally,
He's pretty shredded.
dude. If someone who
Nice.
says noted,
No, I
That's
say
his
that.
phrase.
oh, that's your
That's
phrase.
his.
Where the fuck you think it comes from?
Yeah.
Stay platoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
see,
when
your
I
intuition was correct.
so when I say that kind of shit, he just
Yeah.
enjoys it. Like I
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
that to him.
You like that, huh?
He likes it, man. But so it's a reward.
Does he like good to go?
dude,
I haven't said that one too
Ooh,
much.
What about tracking?
it's more like
I haven't said that one.
it's more
much.
the facial expressions, bro. Like sometimes, like
It's the
I'll just catch an angle or something. Well, it's just, dude. It's I don't know what it is.
Is that what it is?
He's making it
Noted.
up. Listen, I'm a fucking teddy bear.
No,
These guys are
dude.
making
Sometimes
it
I'll
up.
catch an angle. And I'm just like, God damn it! Like you probably fucked some shit up before. You know, something like you just seize that shit. And you're just like, damn, you're legit, man.
So
Yeah.
back to training,
All right,
Marine.
back to training.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm legit. I hope I am.
You
so,
are legit.
so-
So whiskey's legit.
It is good.
It
It's
is.
proper 12. We're not sponsored by them yet, but
I
Connor.
love it.
And Connor, you're fighting my boys.
Hey,
from
another
Army, man, so I
toast.
can't.
Oh,
I
Eli.
know,
Eli. Well,
Oh,
dude,
Eli's done.
and I love how we're starting this off talking about camaraderie because that's what I've always felt with you, Grimes. And Eli, I'm pouring you a drink, so now you and I are establishing the first steps of camaraderie.
Yes, sir.
You guys are gonna fuck each other later.
That's what you said.
Might.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. So, part of that, like you say, the camaraderie, right? Is just establishing who I was with the instructors and getting at least enough respect, and then Mountain Town. We're doing all that. I'm staying up late. I'm earning my keep. Like, hey, man, I'm on. And I also knew, like, look, I'm the newest instructor as of right now. And kind of how that works is like, look, I'm going to stay up the most. But here's what's crazy. Now, most people think, okay, so if you're the new instructor, and that means you're going to, like, take all the shitty shifts and stay up late, and then all the senior guys get asleep. Like, that's a common thought. And I even see where that comes from because all the senior guys get to chill. But here's the difference in the Marine Corps with pride. Here's the difference in being a senior instructor. No, a senior instructor's like, hey, if you're up, I'm up. You're not fucking taking my shift. You got to earn my shift.
Yep.
You got to earn this shitty schedule. Fucking backwards. So we all just end up staying awake.
Yep.
And that's when
It's hilarious.
and we just go, hey, and then like, and it wasn't kiddos. These were sergeants and staff sergeants going through our course. And we were out there teaching them urban warfare. And of course, man, like,
I was trying to slang shirts to him on a side hustle. Remember that? Remember when that staff sergeant called me
Swagger.
out, dude? He called me out right in the middle. Like I was like, "Hey, thank y'all so much for coming." Real quick though, and I gave him this sales pitch
Oh
on this
my
new
God,
clothing
bro.
line I have, and he pulled out a Marine Corps order on me.
Dude.
did he?
Yeah, dude.
What does that mean?
I was
Like,
there.
in the book. You're not allowed to solicit,
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Of course, the staff sergeant would say that.
dude. I had my hustle on though, dog.
Hell yeah.
Was that for
dude.
swagger?
No, yeah, I remember that Swagger. Dog? Remember Swagger?
We're gonna get to there.
It
Anyway,
was No Limit. Remember No Limit
yeah.
Regrets?
Hell,
Yeah.
dude, yeah.
NRM.
Yeah.
I was banging them shirts out of the back of my Silverado.
listen,
fucking
we don't
awesome.
even know where this fucking guy came from.
Yeah.
Okay, but we had like when you go through a school, it's a very prideful in the Marine Corps. You get a T-shirt from it. That's where that whole like saying been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
The shit we do for a T-shirt.
Yeah, but we liked it because when people see you wear that shirt in the gym or wherever, like they know like you've been through something. Like, hey, cool, man. So we liked it. So JT would get our shirts made from a guy. Well, this guy, he had a couple of different companies. He had a T-shirt making company, but he sold Swagger to like Tilly's
And Infliction, I think.
and So
Affliction.
whatever it is. Listen, he's like, hey, come sling some fucking shirts with me. These guys are cool. Come hang out. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like. We bar hop a little bit in Southern California. We're handing out some shirts. There's like a couple girls hanging out. It's all good. But then when we go to his house,
Big house.
bro,
Next door to Warren G.
Oh shit.
never seen a house like this before. There's people doing things in these rooms I ain't never seen before.
There was like a recreational craps tournament just randomly
That's
going on.
awesome.
It was like Wednesday.
Holy
You know what I
shit.
mean?
Yeah.
And there's just guys out there in board shorts.
And
Holy
the
shit.
house was
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah, a midget ran by. It was weird.
Bro,
Strange.
the problem is like I think I was there half drunk.
Yeah, dude. And it was a party. It was a party. I want a house like that.
Yeah.
I
bro.
do.
It was dope.
You know, and one thing I loved about what those shirts is that the back of that shirt, the Urban Leader shirt, remember what it said at the bottom? The shit we do for a sweatshirt.
Is that what it said?
That was our
that's awesome.
motto. That was our motto.
Well, we had the other one, like if you got bitch in your heart, it will show.
Yep, if you got bitch in your heart, it will show.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
you're
Bro,
right.
my wife still
That's
wears
great,
that. My
dude.
wifey. I call her my wife. We're not
You know who drew up and originally did that drawing was Pito.
my man.
That was his saying.
So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
camaraderie. Funny story, right, is I remember like during that time before like that first Mountain Town, man, like we were, these guys were testing me and like we were arguing about dumb shit, like just how to teach. But we all wanted the same thing. Like we were all prideful about what we were doing. And Pito was one of the senior instructors. We called him like the old man because he was older than us, but
I think he was born in the 70s.
bro, he was old. Compared to us, he was old. But Pito was legit, man. Great Marine. He passed away. He ended up deploying again, and then he ended up passing away. His anniversary of him passing away is tomorrow. Hence why we're talking about it. But
Crazy.
Yeah.
good dude. But he was the first guy. He's the guy I post on my Facebook, man, with the cigarette and the fucking Kevlar helmet on.
Oh.
And the whole
Yeah, I remember.
Grimes, you're too young, dumb, and
Yeah,
full of
yeah,
cum
yeah.
to ever fucking give up on anything.
Yep.
So these guys, man, I can't remember like who I almost fought someone. Maybe I did. Well, maybe I did fight him. I don't know. We're going to get gear one day, and he's like, "Hey, Grimes, ride with me." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, man." Like, because he was chill. Everyone liked Pito, but everyone also wanted Pito's respect because Pito was that guy that would quietly kind of sign off on you, kind of like, "Hey, Grimes, ride with me."
Yep.
Little shit like that. Like he would quietly sign off on you, and if Pito signed off on you, guys would automatically start to lighten up a little bit because Pito's kind of saying you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's okay. Let's get back. Let's be productive now, And I remember riding this car and he's like, "How you liking it, man?" And I was like talking about it and this and that. And he mentioned a couple names and I'm like, "Yeah, man, but like this and this." And I'm getting amped up in this car. And he's like, "Grimes, you guys care about that stuff because you're still young, dumb, full of cum." And he's like, "Grimes, you're just too."
Oh, he's puffing on a cigarette.
Yeah. Playing corn coming undone.
Yeah.
Saying that. And it did give me some perspective. But here's what was funny. He's like, "Hey, man, these guys are good to go. You're all good to go." He's like, "You're going to fit in here." And it made me feel good, man. And like, you knew Pito a lot more than I did. I got to be around Pito for about a year or so.
I miss him so much.
I bet you do, man. He's a great guy. But when we talk about camaraderie and brotherhood and like just that friction and just how much you got to do to prove yourself to one another,
Yeah.
as much as I babble, that's not, and maybe there's some impact there. I fucking hope so. Long form content, it's great. So I babble, but there is something to be said about camaraderie and brotherhood when a guy goes, "You're going to fit in here."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, man.
Yeah.
Accepted.
It just allows you to just kind of like lighten up and just next time someone fucks with you, you're just like, "I'm good, man." Like, it's okay.
And what's really cool is that Pito is Corporal Pito,
Yeah.
and everybody else was sergeants.
Yeah.
And when he spoke, you listened.
So corporal is a lower rank
Yeah.
than sergeant.
Yeah, but
But he was like deliberately a corporal. He was he was that guy that was kind of rogue, man. Like he was against a lot of the systematic stuff of the Marine
dude,
Corps.
you look at his picture. I feel like I know exactly who he is just by that one picture you showed me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But again, man, like, and we've talked about this before, man. Like, if you got to walk around and tell people to call you sergeant,
Yeah.
they don't respect you. Does And in the Marine Corps, man, it's a very honest place, at least in the infantry community, in the instructor community. If no one likes you, it doesn't matter what rank you're wearing. They're not going to call you the rank. And even if you force them to, it don't matter. No one respects you. So, you know, the type of respect we had for Pito didn't matter that he was a corporal. We all knew it was deliberate. Like, you had something to fucking prove with it, man. Like, you didn't give a fuck. But he was smart, man. He knew his shit. He was very, very even keeled. You know, like, and it's just nice when a guy can say one sentence to you and have some impact. Rank doesn't explain that, man. Like, it's almost like it's almost like Kate trying to explain labor to me. You just got to go through. Like, I can't explain why that guy saying one thing to me had such a huge impact and just resonated with me so much. You kind of just have to go through sacrifice and camaraderie, like kind of like you and I, man. I was talking about, and I'm sure you can
was
talk
Italian. It's his Italian thing. When Italians talk to you, you know, you just believe them. You know,
you fucking do.
It means something.
Now
you know?
your partner in Long Cut, civilian.
Yeah,
Civilian. So Eli, civilian, right? But
could have been a great Marine.
right. And I say some things like that to him, and I talk to him, and I go, "Hey, man, like, this isn't a Marine thing. This is, you know, camaraderie is forged in adversity."
Yeah.
The opportunity we had of joining the Marine Corps during a time of war, it presented a specific type of environment that brewed a lot of camaraderie. Entrepreneurship, like with Eli and I growing a company together, man, like there's a lot of adversity, a lot of loyalty, a lot of trust, a lot of accountability that has to happen, which creates that camaraderie. Same thing with like you and your partner, man. Like, and this is what we've tried to express on the podcast. And this is why I'm painting such a big picture on how difficult and strict and high pressure / rewarding Division Schools is because that was kind of like your and I's platform that we met on together, that we talk about a lot, that kind of launched our careers years after.
Well,
like, it kind of made us who we were.
Think about what we walked away with from just that little bit of time at Division Schools.
Yeah.
How to speak in public. I mean, getting in front of 100 of your peers.
That'll say
Dude, especially-
bullshit.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think some people sit there saying that they'd rather die.
Yeah.
So you're learning that, and it's not learning by saying, hey, you want to go learn this. You're learning by your face mask being grabbed. Get out there and go. We got your back. And jumping.
Yeah.
You know, and so being able to walk away with those tools in your toolbox to be able to use later on in life now when you're communicating and trying to break something down, like we say, Barney style.
I just said that in accountability meetings yesterday.
I hear so much of the same phrases from you
and
guys.
you got it, because I'm
fucking
going to say
funny.
it once. I'm going to say it one time.
Yep.
And so here it is.
Pay attention.
Pay
Yeah.
attention, dog.
Dude, no wonder shit pisses you off so fucking much, bro. Like, again, just hearing what coming from this, and then like the shit that in real regular fucking life we have
Brother,
to deal
I
with.
almost opened up a company called We Do It Nice because we do it twice. Like I
no
just finally
shit.
got tired of doing things 2 times.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
just doing it right the first time.
Well, and it's true, man. And I think, again, Division Schools was a unique opportunity because I do, like, Manny's out there running, you know, doing Bastards, those bar and grills, and we talk about him a lot, and he's got his partner Nick, and they're doing their thing, and or Nick's his partner, whatever. You know, I think Nick was the originator, but Manny's on board, and they're doing their thing. But Division Schools was that first opportunity where we took a lot of skills we had as Marines. And we were all from different units, but when you're at your unit or you're deploying, you're kind of focused on the job at hand.
Yeah.
Division Schools was like, because we were leaders. I was a squad leader. I was a team leader. I did my thing. But Division Schools gave you a bigger picture because you have several units coming through to train, and you are now solely responsible for the training, organization, proficiency, execution of everything, but not to deploy with them, to make sure that they're as prepared as possible before they deploy. So it gave us we just became more well-rounded, and it was a broader spectrum, right? Like, and that prepared us a lot for what we do now, you know, and like you and I got to share that platform together, which is awesome. And then now, ironically, right, like entrepreneur.
That's what I was
You know,
going to
some
ask.
of the work
like,
ethic that goes into it.
Between the three of you, including Manny, like all business owners, all self-employed.
Yeah.
Was that like a chicken and the egg thing, or like egg
I don't
and
know
the chicken.
what do you mean chicken and the egg?
Which
thing?
came first, like the entrepreneur mentality, which led to doing well in the Marine Corps.
I'll let
which
you
led to
elaborate.
you
I'll
getting into
answer this
business.
first. I'm gonna answer this first, and then I'm gonna let JT elaborate. I don't think.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were entrepreneurs deliberately. I just think it's twofold. One, man, it's really hard to keep a bunch of cowboys.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to put me into someone else's system because I'm already thinking I'm gonna find a way to do it better.
Which is entrepreneur
That's
trait.
what and that's what I did with the fitness company that I was with. I just felt like there was more to me that I could do it better. That I wanted to do my own thing at some point. And like, secondly, I don't think we were overly wanting to be entrepreneurs. I think we've been like, if you look around, like I guess for civilians, right? Like we say this a lot. If you're looking around and no one's doing something right, and it should, like, okay, if you're looking around and no one's speaking up, no one's doing right, that means you should be looking at yourself. Step up and fucking do it right.
Right.
We have that nature of just wanting to take the lead and take control of something because we trust to put the pressure on ourselves. And JT, I'm gonna leave you with this before you elaborate. Somebody asked me one time about like it was Gavin. Hey, what do you think about leadership? Like, are you the guy that takes the last shot at the end of the game? You're like, are you that guy? And he was saying it in a very kind but cliche civilian way. And I go, look, man, I'm the guy that takes the shot at the end of the game. You're right. But not for the fucking reason you think. Because he's thinking confidence and like, take that shot and I said, listen, man, it's not that. It's the other side of that coin. I can shoulder the fucking loss when I miss. You know what I'm saying? Like in leadership and having the burden of training Marines and making sure they're proficient. And literally, man, from start to finish with dude, we were loading our own ammo. We were grabbing ammo. We were creating the doctrine for the course. We were scheduling fucking ranges. Like, we were responsible for every single fucking thing, period. And if you didn't execute it, you weren't worried about Gunny yelling at you. You were worried about Marines not being fucking trained. There was no Saturdays. It was training day 17. We're at this range. Shut the fuck up.
T17.
Dude. But again, man, it wasn't about, oh, my boss is going to be mad at me if I don't schedule this range or we don't do it right. No.
Right.
Guys die.
Yep.
Okay? Very, very cut and dry.
Yep.
So there was just a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we executed, not only on yourself, but other instructors would hold you to that certain pressure as well. So when I got asked that question a year ago about, hey, are you the guy that takes the shot at the end of the game? Yeah, but not because of the confidence and I'm that guy with the swagger. No, man, I can shoulder that loss. I'm not going to fucking break. But I don't think any of us, and I'm speaking obviously for you guys right now, I'm going to let you elaborate, but I don't think any of us overly thought we're going to be entrepreneurs. I just think that we're in that mindset of just being able to do something truer and better. And it's just hard to listen to someone else's system, especially if it's broke, right?
Yeah.
I think we just kind of organically gravitated to our own thing through our systematic approach of how we operate to train Marines and just what we were built from, man. Like, guys built like us don't do well under the authority of guys that are not proficient. So could I have a boss? Yeah. If you're fucking good to go,
right.
If you're fucking Brian Shantosh, yeah. Okay, like Brian Shantosh wants to open some bar and grills and ask me to help out. Good to go, man.
Right.
Because I trust in your ability as a leader and your accountability. We were talking before the podcast, and you were like, "Hey, man, we're talking about landlords and other shit." And you're like, "Hey, I hold you to what you are.
Right.
So if you're this, I'm gonna hold you to that.
I didn't force you to fill out the application.
100%. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think for guys like us that gravitated to entrepreneurship, it's like, one, man, we just don't fit into systems that are broke, that we think we could do better, but don't have the authority to make it better. The Marine Corps is big on small unit leadership.
Yep.
If you're a proficient sergeant or if you're a proficient instructor and there's better ways to do stuff, because it was a time of war and because we were desperate to keep guys safe, they're open to new tactics. So small unit leadership was big in the Marine Corps. Small unit leadership in corporate America, your boss is worried about you taking his job.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
We don't fit well in shut the fuck up world if it's just for the sake of shutting the fuck up. And I think we just gravitated to entrepreneurship. Could be wrong. Now, he's just been talented because this fucking dude right here, we'd be in pickup trucks, grabbing ammo, getting ready for a course, and a song would be on, a beat would be on. He'd be like, yeah, you're a little bitch. Maybe be a witch. Dude, he would fucking just go off and rap toward us.
Funny.
And he would make fun of us at division schools. Like, I'd be in the passenger seat. He'd be driving the truck, and he would just start rapping. And I liked it But then I figured out, like, oh, you're rapping about me, you fucking
That's
asshole.
amazing, bro.
And I can't
That's
look.
awesome.
And here's the deal: if someone raps at you, you don't get to push them. It's a rap battle.
Right.
So if he raps at you,
battle.
You gotta, yeah.
you better rap back.
Yeah.
I can't rap.
So,
So you have to just laugh, kind of like a comedian on stage.
Yeah.
If a comedian
they're picking on you.
if you sit front row at a comedy show and a comedian makes fun of you, just laugh.
Yeah. Right.
Don't try to come
No,
back
you
at him. You're an
can't.
idiot. So when he would rap at us, just laugh. Just take it, man.
So JT,
Just fucking take it. So he's got some talent he's had for a long time, dude.
so you mentioned hustling T-shirts and shit.
Yeah,
in the
dude.
Marines.
He's always been
Were
that.
you-
I've
Were
always
you-
been that grinder.
Yeah, maybe you were
Have you?
more of an entrepreneur all the time.
I don't know. You know, the thing is, I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was. It was just natural. You know, I'd get there and see these shirts show up in a box, and this dude pull up in a Humvee
Yep.
named Mike Caputo,
Yep.
Italian guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there like, how can I get a piece of that? And so it started off with me just driving to his address and picking him up and taking $2 a shirt.
Oh no shit.
And even before then, I've always tried to find that way of can I make my own CD? How
Yeah.
can I do that to cut that guy out?
Figure it out.
Right. And so the answer to the question, I don't think there's really a direct answer of yes and no. I think it's just part of the journey I was on.
Yeah.
Because if you put me on a job site, I'll do good, but I only do good for like 6 weeks, and then I'm not showing up because I'm bored. I'm done.
Yep.
And that has nothing to do with the actual job. I've done everything from floating concrete, stacking walls, and I love the hard work. I love the camaraderie that's in that, but it's not for me.
Right.
And I can't describe the reason why. It's just a feeling. And I naturally just keep gravitating towards that entrepreneur platform of failing and failing and failing. And that's where somebody has to understand that you're going to fail. If you're scared to fail, then go clock in for somebody else because they got your back.
Bitch.
If you're down to ride and you're down for some scars and to fail, and I was down for it not even knowing it.
But I think you're right. We had a podcast on conscious and subconscious mind.
Right. I watched that one.
I appreciate that. So now you're gonna know what I get into. Like, hey man, I was doing this stuff and not even thinking about it.
Right.
So you're subconscious, right? But you were falling back on what you had been built from. Like you weren't scared of scars. You weren't scared of hard
I
work.
was raised good.
Right.
Got a good
Yeah.
mama.
And a Marine Corps.
The
You had a green weenie for a little bit.
I did real deep.
And it's hey dude, I got a good mom too. I got a good mama too. Like it's man, we could get super deep on that. There's a lot of good stuff.
You know what
that's
that
there.
is, man? That's like my hippie explanation is like
Here it comes.
Think
Here,
about it though, for real.
Get your fucking concealed
No,
out.
it's true. The whole failure shit that you just described, man.
Yeah.
That is the universe's way of hazing exactly like you guys did to
Mm-hmm.
other Marines, where it's like, hey, if you're getting into this, like, you want to make sure that you're fucking worth it, that you're not a fucking bitch, that you can be trusted. That's the universe trying to get that out of you.
True.
That the universe will tell you if you're paying attention that you're on the right track.
Yes.
True.
Yep.
Now, here's the blessing we had in the Marine Corps, because this is a super popular topic now, and it's popular to talk about. It's not popular to go through. Hence, a lot of fucking topics. Self-awareness. Look, if you don't know something in the Marine Corps, if you're just not good at it, we're gonna talk about it, and we might talk about it in front of everybody. If you decide to run your mouth and open it in front of everybody, and somebody might tell you to shut the fuck up. This
That's
isn't.
a value. That's a very important moment, though, in
Yeah.
a kid, in a young Marine's moment, to be embarrassed.
Yep.
That's good for you.
Yep.
But
Dude,
you
you're
brought
so
it on,
right, man.
but a lot of times you bring it on yourself. And here's the thing: it never came from negative. Like, hey, you're not good at that. That's not your thing. However, hey, you're good at these two things. Right. But stop fucking talking about this because it's not your lane. Do what you're good at. Shut the fuck up, and then hey, wait 2 days when it's your class. But stop doing this. You're not good at it.
It
Okay.
takes a while though to figure out what you're not good at and what you're good at.
Or 12 other Marines fuck telling you not good at it.
Because
Now,
dude, I've sang in front of the cook and the manager more times than I've sang to a sold out show.
yeah.
And people don't know that.
Yeah. Fuck.
You know, they don't know
Dude,
about
he just loved that stuff, man. Like he would hear a beat and he would just rap. I think half of them were toward me.
What?
Now, here's the thing.
good
It's not-
material, man. Good-
Bro, it's not
good
because
content.
he doesn't like me. I'm just an easy
He's got
target.
has a lot to work with, right?
Yeah, a lot to work
I'm yeah, maybe you're not that good of a rapper because I'm an easy target, right? Why don't you rap about Manny or something, man? Like I'm
Manny.
I'm an easy target.
Man, I've always loved Manny, dude.
He's a cool cat, man. But we had a good time there. But something that we also want to talk about. I've got a couple of notes, man, that we can kind of go through and just
You bulletized it.
spit game.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can spit game.
That's that government administration.
No, it's not, man. This is being a fucking professional.
Gotcha.
Do you write your lyrics?
Off the head.
You write them though, right?
I do. I write 'em.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Hey, I'm an artist. This is a podcast. Okay.
Sometimes you can make some good ones up,
Yeah.
but majority of the time, dude, I forgot my lyrics on tour. Bro,
Did you like hold it out
last
to the
song-
crowd and then
I bet songs bleed together, right?
Bro, last song, last verse,
Oh shit.
my favorite song,
oh man.
blacked
Gone.
out. Dude, I freestyled the whole thing. And what's funny is I don't think not one person knew. Besides my homeboys,
Poise.
the ones that I got camaraderie with.
Yeah.
But the homeboys know how to hold the beat and keep the shit
Yeah.
going because you're gonna go to the tempo.
Dude, I got off that stage and everybody was like, sucker. How do you feel? How do you feel
What's,
right now?
what's your setup like? So it's you and your buddy.
Yeah, so
And you're
Brian,
both rapping, right?
Yeah, let me talk about Brian real quick, man, because Brian's a huge part of what we're doing. He's the 50%, man. He's the other half. Long Cut's two guys. It's myself and Brian Thomas. And Brian had his own music thing going. I had my own music thing going. Similar to maybe you guys had your own past and could see something special when y'all came together. That's what happened.
No, Eli had a warrant.
Oh, is that what it was?
So I was still a cop. We haven't talked about this.
Is that
so
why
I was,
you left?
So I was still
God
a
damn
cop. I was still a cop. Eli had a warrant for possession of marijuana, and it was caught on camera at a 7-Eleven. So I had to arrest him. I couldn't like throw him off with like a little strokey behind the building. So I arrested him, and like he swore he had a business idea.
Dear
You know, he offered me some things. We had to hold off because I was a good cop.
Yeah.
I couldn't take sexual bribes, but he had a warrant. And then a couple years later, man, like he started Prestige Worldwide, like he said he would. We've been fucking
Boats and hoes.
step brothers
right.
forever, bro.
That's actually surprisingly accurate.
And literally, too, when people ask how we met, I say that shit because people know
so
I used to be
funny.
a cop. I'm like, I had a warrant,
Yeah.
So funny.
and I'm hard to take. Like, you don't know if I'm joking or not.
Yeah,
I
no
fucking
shit.
love that
Well,
stuff.
Brian brought
So-
me on to open up for him, and him and I just kicked it off as just people hanging out.
Yep.
You were singing first,
Yeah,
right?
man, I was singing country music.
Yeah,
you
fuck
know?
that. You're a way better
Well,
rapper.
I loved the challenge behind it, and also I didn't. This is just me being honest. I was real worried about if you say coming out. You know what I'm saying? As a rapper,
Yeah.
there was kind of like a little secret that I had,
Yep.
and I wanted to do country, but I just couldn't do it. And it kind of naturally, the universe naturally put the right people in the right path for me to see. And once I saw it, I was like, dude, this is it. And Brian said it 3-4 years ago. If you ever want to do something for real, hit me up. We'll become country rappers. And so 2 years ago, dude, I lost my job.
Crazy.
I lost like my life. I was homeless. And Brian lost everything on the other side of the country. He's driving from Nashville and says, go get in the studio. Today we're going to be country rappers. We got a show. We didn't even have a name yet. So our first show, it says Brian Thomas and JT Adams. We didn't even have a name,
All good.
you know. And I think that when it comes back to
So that's your day $1 man.
and now it's
One
gonna.
of
That's
them.
where I was
Yep.
doing the coming back with that answer. That is definitely day $1 is when we wrote the first song in a Ford Explorer in the freezing cold, and that's where we slept as well.
Damn, bro.
Oh, dude.
Damn. How'd you connect with him? Because he wasn't military.
No, it was just music. You know, it's a Northern Colorado's music scene is pretty tight, and so you get to know guys, and
Got you.
And I didn't really get accepted, if you would say, like some of the other
Karma.
artists.
Karma.
And stuff,
That's what you
know?
did to me when I got to division schools,
Yeah,
JT.
there it was.
You
I-
had that
I-
shit coming.
Yeah.
I had to go sit in Pito's front seat, man. And Brian was that guy that told me, "Hey, man, you're good. You just got to figure some stuff out." And you know, being a person who wanted to be successful and seeing him, he had it figured. He's good. Of course, I'm gonna listen. And so he kind of brought me up as learning this type of interpretation of music and writing. And then before he knew it, we were developing our own sound together.
Crazy.
And it's Long Cut.
Crazy.
And there's like, from what I can tell, man, there's no ego. You're you, he's him.
Yeah.
You guys embrace your roles. You appreciate the other guy's roles, which is very similar to Eli and I, man. Like, I've got some public talks coming up in New York. I'm getting paid to go do some public speaking and get on stage, and Eli's like super stoked about that, right? He doesn't want to, like, he probably has no interest in doing what the fuck I do.
Right.
No.
1000%.
Right. But I also, when I'm on that and we're talking to those guys and we're doing some consulting and business while we're there, I'm very eager to speak about his half and what he does and why this thing comes full circle. And it's kind of like Marines watching each other's back. Hey, when you're patrolling, I'm not looking at the window right above me. I got to look across the street because that's my vantage point.
Right.
I can see more. But that means I'm leaving my back to a window. That means if you're across the street, you're watching my back and I'm watching your back. And when we both are all in and we trust each other and we're proficient, it works very effective. Same thing in business, man. Like a lot of this stuff bleeds in. When he's good at what he does and I'm good at what I do and we embrace each other's individualism and our strengths and what we're good at, but we also encourage and support what the other guy's doing, that's having each other's back, man. It brings it full circle. And that's something that him and I have done really well in business.
Dude, and just when no one's keeping score, just everyone's just doing their thing. That
right.
Yeah, dude.
It's not what you're doing on stage. It's also more important off stage.
Well, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish when someone's not trying to take the credit.
Mm-hmm. Right? And what's amazing too is that I bet when you wake up and you make a decision, you think, how is this not only going to affect me, but will as well? And that's
well, that better be your morning wood,
dude. Every single social media post, every single phone call, every single text message, literally every single everything.
Yeah. And that's what the Marine Corps is too, is you got to remember that you're not representing yourself. And I think that's something that, Will and I walk away with, is that we do understand, this is about the brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Well, it's about your brothers. And when you say brand, because I know there's things about the Marine Corps we don't like, we don't miss. And every time we talk about the Marine Corps, like, hey, do you miss the Marine Corps?
I do not.
I miss my guys.
I miss the Marines.
I miss the Marines. Yeah. However, the Marines, and this is what people need, fucking listen to me very carefully. When JT just said, hey, you're part of something bigger than yourself, and what we take away from the Marine Corps is the brand. Let me dive in a little bit further for you, Barney style. The brand is the Marines. Me having a direct representation of like who I am and identifying as a Marine, I have a reflection upon, yes, the entire Marine Corps, but more importantly, the Marines that are involved and the guys that served with me, right? So when JT says brand, don't think big, think, hey, the Marines are the brand, right? Don't romanticize it. Don't think the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor and something fancy on the fucking birthday. Right. It's the Marines. They are the fucking brand, that is what I'm proud of and what I take to. And it's fun, man, to get out and still have that type of pedigree and to pass it on and then to watch that become successful in business. Or like you guys, man, you guys are doing music, but there's a business behind that.
Oh, there's a huge business.
Right? Like I'm sure, man, you guys get poopy pants sometimes and don't fucking like each other.
I was doing music.
Yeah.
Ha.
No.
You're in real estate.
It's now we're finally doing music and we got the right team, man. We got co-signed by Demon Jones, Raw Records. Demon just released an album called Demon. We just got off the Demon tour. He's the grandfather right now, man, showing all of his young bucks the road.
Is he one of the original country rappers?
Buddy, he was in rehab back in the day as the rapper, songwriter, guitar player. But not only that, dude, he's done it from the private level.
Yeah.
He started off at the bottom.
Like when it really wasn't popular.
Well, dude, he started off as a roadie as well as entertaining.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So he hauled it in, sold the merch, got on stage, meet and greets. So he learned the business
like
as well.
Like the Swiss Army knife of
right. And so and to have him be able to sit down and open up a computer and have the time going, this is what we're going to do today, and then I need you to go ahead and keep doing it this way, period, it's that black and white, and that gives you that warm and fuzzy.
What does he think of you?
I've never asked him that question.
We should ask him. Does he like your music?
I never asked him that question.
I'm guessing he does.
Yeah, I think he likes it. I like his music, and we are influenced a lot based on, his input. So I think he likes our music.
He's one of those guys where, like, look, if you're even in his theater, right, or if you're collaborating, or if he's talking to you guys and you're vibing,
doing something right.
You're doing something right, right?
It's
what
songs,
doesn't get said, right?
Like, there's some ideas that he doesn't like. Like I'm not saying not like we did a metal portion in a song on the album. It does a metal breakdown.
Yeah.
He didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And he stood behind the creative thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And those are the moments when he allows us to do our thing. But a lot of the times, we're listening to him when it comes to the business, the merch.
Yeah.
The merch, the presentation, how you talk, what you're saying. Remember that it's a full... it is a business. There's a market out there. The minute you say something, you put a knife right in the middle of the market. You get on stage MFing all over the place. It's no longer an 18 and up. It's now 21 and up. So you just lost a huge market.
Gotcha.
Not all ages.
And here's where it goes even deeper. You're just going to have people that are opinionated that maybe don't like that you cuss. So when you say like you're putting a knife in the middle of something, it might be 9 fucking knives.
Right.
Because you got the 21 and older.
Right.
But then you also have people that maybe like they like it and they don't want to play it in their house and dance with their kiddos, but now you're cussing all the time.
Right.
They can't play it in front of their kids, but they're 40 or they're 35. You know, like
well, dude,
you
we
just
have
never know, man.
we have 9-year-olds, 10, 11,
crazy,
8, all
dude.
up front, and then we have people. Did you see the post of the 2 kids talking about the pre-order? Did you
No,
see
what?
that?
No.
It's 2 kids, dude. We got an email yesterday saying that my son got in trouble for randomly shouting "long cut" in class. He's in elementary.
But hey,
That's
it's not a
awesome,
cuss
bro.
word.
You know,
That's
so when you got
awesome.
Well,
that
and man,
type
that's
of
such
influence,
it's such a brilliant way to think too, man. Because if you think about this, right, you guys are embarking on a very new genre.
Yeah.
That even though it's super rapid and it's one of the fastest growing sections of music, it's still going to take time.
Yeah.
Which means,
well, what doesn't?
no, true. But what I'm getting at when there's like the whole not cussing or certain stuff, 9-year-olds, 14-year-olds, the ones that are hearing you right now, they're going to be the massive amount of audience you have when they're 25. But if they're not allowed to hear you now,
Right.
they're not going to build, and that's not going to be your support down the road, and you won't have it. So it's smart to just understand if something's going to take time.
You can't hide
know?
your CD anymore.
No.
Remember how you would have your metal? You know what I'm saying? You would have
Dude,
that,
yep,
and you
yep,
would
yep.
have it underneath your mattress.
Yep.
You can't do that no more. Everything is right there, and you're being
wait,
seen
dude.
what you're watching.
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I didn't
Go
have
ahead.
porn under my mattress. I had a Metallica CD. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and right next
I know what
to
you
it.
mean, though.
You know what I'm saying? Is that
No, you're right.
And so to be able to have a product that you look out there and you're coming out there with chains and wallets and
Yeah.
all this and bandanas, but at the same time you're like, dude, this guy's 9 and he's on stage with me right now singing The Weeknd at one of our songs. He knows my verse.
That's insane, man.
Dude, I give kids the mic, they just start spitting my verse.
That's fucking dope.
That's
dude.
so cool. I mean, man, I'm so glad you said that because I give kids a mic and they just repeat my podcast, man. They can't.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hey, good.
what can you
Yeah.
control? What can you influence? I got little preachers all over the place, JT.
So
No.
do you guys have
I'm
any,
a fucking librarian compared to being a rock star like you, man.
you
good
got
shit.
any tour coming up, anything like that? You just dropped a new album, right?
Yep, so we just got off the road, the Demon Tour. We started in Florida, finished all the way over in Washington, Oregon area, hit everything in between. So right now we're taking some time to focus on other aspects of music, like music videos like that we're releasing soon. Today is the release of Deer Killer.
Such a good song.
And so
bro.
that what's really neat about that is that was our first song we ever released with Raw Records, and it's still our #1 biggest streaming song. So we had to put a music video to it.
Deer Killer.
And when y'all
Play
see
on
it,
the
you're gonna
outro.
love it. It's not what you're thinking. How we did it. It's really cool. I can't wait to show you.
It's not going out and hunting a deer.
No,
So
it-
please, if you're listening to this, I got a little sneak peek. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. Oh well.
You can get sneak
I
peek.
got a little sneak peek, man. I got just a tip from JT a little earlier, man. It was good.
Yeah, and
It
so
was worth the entire thing.
we got a big show coming up, dude. New Year's with
Yeah.
Colt Ford,
Where at?
Fort Collins, Sundance Saloon. New Year's.
New Year's is a hard one for me.
It's hard for everybody.
No. Well, we do something.
Dude,
I mean,
you have traffic on your street. I can't imagine.
yeah. Well,
Dude,
no,
this
we
is a
usually
busy little side of the world.
Well,
right
and
here.
like tradition, we just stay. So tradition for us is that we stay home with our kids on New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
We bring the New Year's in as a family.
Well, it's all ages.
And there is
Take her to the bar at midnight, yeah.
Listen to me. There is. Give me that camera. Listen, there.
Hey, all you have is misunderstanding.
Hey, it's all ages. Listen, that's the fucking guy selling shirts out of the back of his fucking
right,
trunk,
dude.
and that's the guy
Hell
trying
yeah.
to sell shirts
Hey,
at
all
division
ages.
schools. All ages, man.
It's all ages.
I do want to, and I'm sure there's probably a couple questions that like people are having. I know we're having a lot of fun. I don't want to be super selfish and just enjoy you. I also want to like make sure it's impactful for the audience and things like that, right? So, we've got things, so we talk about like where it all started. So, I want to kind of tap into that, but I think they kind of coincide together. But like, so what, where it all started and what now? As in like where you got, and before we get off the podcast, I do want to talk about where everyone is kind of going. Eli and I can shed some light on 2020. I know you can shed some light for yourself on 2020, but I think a big thing for the audience, and this is fun, man, because there's a lot of similarities as far as business, even though you guys are fucking rock stars and popular and girls like you, and him and I are stacking books in a podcast library. And doing our thing. There's a lot of, even though there's some differences, there is some commonalities between you and I as Marines, right? And serving together. But we couldn't be on more, I guess it's not more opposite, because podcasts are growing just like your guys' genre of music. So there are some similarities there. But I think it's important to talk about, like, let's elaborate on that day $1.00 a little bit. You can even go prior, man. I want to talk about a time you checked me. I know you didn't say you checked me. You fucking checked me. And then you stole what I said and gave it to your, right? You, like, ignored me, but then we're going to get into it. But I think it's important. Like, let's go back a little bit further. Let's go back a little bit further. I'll give you some context. But let's go back a little bit further as far as day $1.00 and kind of how you took rapping as, like, just having fun. It was just you, man. You would rap, you'd have fun with it at division schools. But I'm so you've got the day $1.00 with your partner, and kind of where that, we're going to talk about that taking off and where you guys are now. But prior to that, I think what a lot of people want to hear about, because they think they're entrepreneurs, or like, man, I don't know what. Like, I talked to a guy yesterday, man, I can't wait to, like, start something. The fucking guy at Chase Bank.
Oh,
those
God.
guys that watch us deposit checks every day, they fucking love us. Bro, we're depositing checks every day. And these guys are in there not. So they're just employees of this Chase Bank. But he told me yesterday, he goes, no, man, I can't wait to be, and to do my own thing. I'm just not sure what I want to do. Like, I'm not sure which direction to take it. So what I want to talk about is, when did you start having an idea of having fun rapping in division schools and making fun of us, to through all your other career endeavors and them not working out, to trying to sing, which you're a better rapper than singer. Just saying, not that you're not a good singer. I might have listened to it a couple times. But where, like, just the transition of all of that. So I guess what I'm getting at is everything prior to the day $1.00 with your partner in the cold, in the car. Right. Prior to that, having fun at div schools, rapping, making fun of all of us, to different career endeavors and different shit. What was that like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that transition like? Right. Where did you start to turn this into a craft and then give it direction like you do now? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Dude, I want to be 100 and honest. That's something that I'm definitely focusing on.
He's about to give me full credit for his entire career.
Well, I think that it's a hard thing to, like, if I just think really hard, it's a surreal feeling right now to put music out and people respond to it. It's overwhelming. It's unbelievable. It feels like a dream, because for so long I was in a delusional state, if you would say, where I'm trying to bend you know what I'm saying, my energy, but people weren't coming to my shows. People weren't downloading my music. They would listen to it because I forced them to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Bro. And so it got to
how long was that, man? Like, from the time, like, you started,
dude. I started rapping when I was a kid on a karaoke machine that a summer a counselor bought for me.
So when people weren't,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
bro.
when people weren't downloading your music or coming to your shows, was that when you were singing?
Well, dude, I also put out a rap album. No one knew about it. You didn't even know about it.
No.
When I was a recruiter, when I was a Marine.
Yeah.
You know who I sold it to?
Ooh.
The recruiter. The recruits and their kids and their parents. I had it sitting on my desk.
Oh, my God.
I'm not lying to you, dude. I went down to places in Denver, record labels, while I was still in the Marine Corps, getting in my uniform, bro. Got kids going to MEPS.
Yeah.
Right? And in that little downtime, I'm jetting over to, like, studios in Denver, dropping my rap album.
Now, was it? But here's the thing: was it
one
rap?
knew about that.
Was it traditional rap?
It's traditional rap.
Okay, so here's an important point I want to kind of, like, highlight as we're talking about some of your thought process and things not working, like self-awareness, having thick skin. So like the traditional rap, you're not hitting, it's not popping off. Maybe it's just muddy water. Everyone's trying to do that. It's very saturated. And look, dude, you got country to you, so maybe your traditional rap just, like, all of you wasn't coming out.
Bro,
and I'm shooting from the hip, but maybe all of you,
I'll back you up,
wasn't coming out.
3rd grade, won a talent show, Vanilla Ice.
I love Vanilla Ice.
4th grade, got up there, Chattahoochee, Alan Jackson, blow up guitar, dog. You get me?
Yeah.
I've always had this weird want to love the sing, dance, entertain in a mirror. It's still today, dude. I can't brush my teeth without making weird faces at myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me being honest.
I don't think it's that weird.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
always in that.
And
like,
I'm big on protecting my words.
Playing, dude. It's
playing.
Yeah.
I think weird's the
life.
wrong word.
Yeah.
I think just per society, and we're all victims of society to an extent until we grow and mature and become wise and decide to get comfortable in our own skin and just express ourselves how we need to, and we don't care about the outcome. We just need to be ourselves. But until that blooms, we are kind of like a victim of society per se of what's acceptable, what's not.
That's where I had the disconnect.
Listen, man, you think it's weird to like make faces at yourself while you're brushing teeth. You know people wipe their ass and like look at the toilet paper.
I stand up when I wipe.
There you go.
Is that weird?
No.
Some people do, man.
I don't know.
I don't understand how you can shift weight to the left buttocks and do that.
But that's what I'm getting at. Nobody wants to talk about it, so we think it's weird, but in reality, there's a lot of commonalities between just human nature that we don't talk about.
And that's where I'm getting more in tune with, and I think that's
so
why
what was the
things are
thought? And
working
that's what
out.
I want to dive into a little bit if you can. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I'm here.
But so you were obviously comfortable in your own skin, rapping, making fun of us, but you're comfortable because you're around your Marines.
Well, what's
so
comfortable?
you're able to be yourself
Dude, I was so embarrassed all the time.
at Marine Corps.
No, dude. You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know that feels like I'm sweating inside.
Yep.
I'm dripping from my face, but no one knows that. But I'm doing a good job. They think I'm cool and calm, collective. But inside, I'm like, wow, losing my cool.
Poise.
Poise, huge word. I love that word, poise. Yeah. Oh gosh, that's one of my favorite leadership traits. That I walked away with, because that right there is why everybody who's an entertainer or turn on a podcast and go live is because you have that poise.
Yeah.
And I think that came with experience.
Yeah. And let me be clear when we talk about poise. Poise is not pretending to be a veteran. And I don't mean military veteran. I mean veteran in your craft. Poise is not faking the funk. Poise is okay to be new or you're a veteran. It doesn't matter. Poise is being able to manage and nut up and hold control of your emotions when it's a very high stressful time.
Maintain composure.
You're standing on stage. It's your first fucking rap debut as a country rapper. And if you fuck it up, you're just going to go away.
Yeah.
Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, whether he's won 6 Super Bowls or not, there's poise involved when you're down by 3 and there's a minute left. Now, he's got experience there, but here's what's funny about poise. And here's what's funny about experience and why it's not always your friend. When you've won 5 Super Bowls and you have 47 comebacks with a minute left in a game, if you don't win this Super Bowl, you're a super fuck up because we've seen you do it before. You're expected to perform. We pay you to do what you've shown you can do versus the guy that's got nothing to lose. Now, here's the difference. A guy that's vetted, that's expected, yeah, man, he's got to keep control of his own emotions, but he's fighting some demons on the inside. The guy that's a rookie that's on that same platform, he's got to keep his shit from coming out. Because he's a lot more explosive on the inside.
Got you.
He's just got to keep it from coming out. You just got to keep your shit together on the field. The other guy, it's just a different battle, but it's a fucking battle.
Right,
So when we talk about poise, like make sure, like when we, and I'm big on putting weight behind my words, right? And I want people to understand what it means. Poise is not, I got to go out there and fake it till I make it and act like I fucking own the place. No, the fuck you don't. No, poise is being able to handle pressure, and whether it's your first time or your 50th time on stage or your 50th time in a Super Bowl, you need to understand how to, whatever battle you're going through, because whether it's your first time or your 100th time, the battle's different. But there's a fucking battle and there's a level of expectation, either a level of expectation that you've put on yourself because you know if you don't make it right now, you break it, or a level that society puts on you because they've seen you do it 6 times. It's different. But the level of pressure is the same. It's up to you on whatever battle that you've got going on inside. Handle your shit and still be able to perform.
That's where I think I might be not doing the best at, is handling, like, not on stage. Like, not at the show, not at the merch table, not at the podcast. It's like when I go home, bro.
Yep.
I go home. You know what I'm saying?
Are you supposed to have poise at home? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Maybe.
But maybe that's the balance, though, is to be honest with yourself behind closed doors and stop having that sense of delusion. And that's where things started shifting, was I stopped trying to give, I say this loosely, give people what they want.
Right.
I just became comfortable within my own skin, and this is what you get.
Yep.
But given what you get, people that are true fans
Are
that
my
can.
cheeks really red?
We're all. Yeah, you guys are high and drunk. What the fuck? No, it's just that red curtain behind you, homie.
Yeah,
No, I know what you mean, man. And here's I learned this being
Plus, we're high and drunk.
You guys are. I'm fucking sober. I'm drinking
Picking
alcohol.
up that, you're picking up that secondary smoke, son.
I am.
Right
You know what I learned being a cop? Because when you deploy, you're gone for 7-9 months. It's on for a while. Yeah, there's going to be some complacency or some downtime, and then you come home. But there's a long time before you have to turn that switch off and come home. As a cop, you're turning switches on and off all goddamn night. You're saving a cat in a tree. You're over at some verbal domestic. You're helping an old lady with groceries because she fell and somebody's worried about her. You're responding to a fucking shooting. You're at a theater shooting. You're at a fire. A baby dies in a fire. And then you're back to a verbal domestic or a fender bender on the road. Like calls on patrol are so different. It's on and off, and you've got to put on so many different hats as a cop. It's an extremely hard profession. I'm not saying every cop is good. That's not where we're going with this. However, I think people having context to how extremely difficult that job is, you don't have it. Now, here's what's even harder. You don't go home in 9 months. You don't get to turn that shit on. No, you go home every night.
Right.
So you got to go be dad or husband or boyfriend or be by yourself every night.
I don't know how the fuck that happens, man.
You'll get burnt out.
Yeah.
A veteran cop kind of started giving me some perspective, and he's like, you need to find time to be off.
Yeah.
He says, you're on at work. You're on for everyone. You're wearing a badge. You have a solution.
That's why golf was invented.
Maybe. But you got to be on all the time. And you're on in the most extreme situations, and you're on as far as being caring and compassionate and patient when an old lady just needs some help and you're losing your mind because you think the baby just died in that fire, but you got to put that aside and then come help this old lady. Or even worse, you got to hear two people bitching at each other about a minor fender bender. Your car has a scratch, but I was just at a fire where a baby died, and that's a real story. But now here you are, but here's the problem. You can't say that to them because they can't relate to that. Yeah. And that's not fair. However, you got to shoulder it. Yeah. Then you go home and your husband and your dad, and you got to be on there too. So your on is on. You're going to blow a fucking fuse.
Or what if you're doing something like what you're doing with the podcast is new?
Yep.
You go home, and you just kind of have that moment where you're like, am I good?
I feel high, dude.
You know
like
what I'm saying?
especially after this, like I definitely leave with
Well,
a
you guys
high.
are physically high.
Not
So my lady, being awesome that she is, she already ordered you guys fucking pizza.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Is like you guys have
go.
a beautiful setup here. It's nice, and and like where we are with Long Cut, we have a good show. It took that grind, that grit to get there. It took grind and grit for you to get all this nice setup.
Yep.
It's like, at the end of the day, when I say I go home, and it's just like you turn off all those, you turn it that deployment switch or that cop switch that you're talking about. For me, it's like I'm so like happy. I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of fear that it is going to end, and I think that just might be my human in me.
Man, I got a good answer for
But
you
when
on
you're
that.
when you're happy and you got something, if it's your last sip, you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
That's why I made that post. Some people hold their smoke in, I stay rolled up. That's me basically trying to tell myself that word too.
Yeah.
Blow it out.
Yep.
Breathe.
Yep.
Enjoy the moment.
Yep.
Well, and you should. And when you're like, man, I'm happy, like I don't want it to end. You've also got to go get recharged. Because here's the thing. If you're burnt out, if you're tired, and you do it so much to the point where you don't like it, you don't have a good energy on stage, I'm assuming. That's going to bleed into the performance. People aren't going to like your performance but paid for fucking tickets. And now it's a slippery slope. It's the same thing, man, like when we talk about marriage.
Right.
And like the way I talk about marriage, and I know some of you can see me on YouTube and Facebook right now, but I can't draw for you. You remember that graph where two circles overlap?
A Venn diagram.
You're so smart. Fuck you.
And the things that are common
this
are
guy.
in the middle.
Yeah. So
That one, yeah.
in a relationship, and I've talked about it like with Kate and stuff, and she's way smarter than me. So that's my Barney style graph or whatever Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
What I'm getting at is you've got to have some individuality. The other person has to have some individuality. You got to have time away, and then you're going to have some commonalities and some shared time in the center. Why should that be any different with anything else? You could draw that same Venn diagram for your performance, for your art, for your music, right? Like instead of having your lady on the left and you on the right, it's your career on the left and you on the right. And there's going to be some overlap. But also, man, like what bleeds and what makes you a performer is you. So you've got to stay in tune with yourself and just savor that. And look, man, you were a great Marine. Now you're becoming a great artist, right? So I think when we worry about, man, this is going to end. If it does, it does. However, who you are,
dog, I ain't even tripping.
I ain't even worried about it.
I'm telling you, that was
but
the
you know
results.
what I'm saying, man. But like whatever chapter turns, like whenever you're done with music one day, whenever him and I are done with real estate and we're moving on to something else, the feeling you're talking about doesn't end. There's going to be a new endeavor. And you know why? It's because you made the music. You made who you were as a Marine. Same thing with him and I making what we are. So if a new endeavor we embark on, it's still going to be exciting.
Dude, that's why
you know what I'm saying?
I'm so big on having fun. Like if I'm not having fun when I'm doing, there's hard shit every day. Yeah, I do things I don't want to do. But like that playtime you're talking about, like making goofy faces in the mirror, like playing and having fun every day, dude, is a non-negotiable for me. Because I'm fully aware that this is what it is. Like
if I don't do it there, I'm gonna do it in public,
bro. Well, yeah, and just having fun. Like the grind is like 95% of the journey. Actually making it is like the last little 5%, right? So it's like the last thing I want to do is realize, like, oh fuck, I could have been like having fun and chill this whole time and still getting shit done and still moving forward.
Yeah.
Just the feeling of like I don't want to wait till I'm somewhere financially to be happy, right?
Correct.
I just had that thought. It's like when am I gonna? And I was like, why am I asking when? I could do that right now.
Yes.
I could. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like I have like these little wickets I got to hit before I, go buy a boat or something. So go get a boat.
I would say, like, for me, man, like a lot of things bleed together. It's a little harder for you because you're a performer. We get it. We are who we are. Now, don't get me wrong. You are who you are. I'm sure you're the same dude on stage, just heightened for the entertainment. But what we really try to figure out is like, hey, man, if I'm helping a real estate transaction, if I'm helping a buyer, if I'm helping a seller, and I'm super patient, I'm helping them, I'm explaining contracts and different shit, right? And it's like several weeks into it, and I'm crushing. I'm patient for them. I peg them. I know they're a worry freaks, and I got them. But then I come home, one night, and my daughter has questions about homework, and after 4 minutes, I'm getting frustrated because she doesn't get it. What the fuck? Right? So what we really try to do, and like what I guess me personally, I try to like keep perspective of like, hey, what makes me great at business that I could also use in being a father? And then what makes me a great father that I could utilize in business? They all start to bleed together. So sometimes if we think something's slipping or, man, is home good? Like I'm so good everywhere else, but then I come home, what is that? Well, to some people's defense, man, like when you travel that much, you're getting less time at home, which means, it's less established because there's less time. But I'm big on phases. And Kate and I talk a lot about this, man. There's time. I'm not away like you out of state, but even though I'm in Colorado, sometimes I'm not home. And I miss holidays, I miss birthdays, I miss family functions because we're grinding the business. However, we're in a phase of getting that rocket off the ground. And that rocket, how much energy it requires to get off the ground, and when that rocket's in orbit, a lot different.
How much sacrifice?
Right. So we're in that phase of establishment. So even though like there's some things I want for my family, and there's some things I want right now, like maybe I could try to force it. No, we're in a phase of building a business right now. And there's going to be some things that I miss. But having the perspective and just understanding that, hey, that's the phase I'm in. Yep. And everything I do want to provide for and provide with, hey, that's coming, but I've got to lay that foundation. And right now I'm out. Right now, like for you, right now I'm laying cement across the entire goddamn country. And then you're going to build a house on this motherfucker, right? But, when we have perspective on the phases that we're in, we have things to look forward to. But then we also, as hard as we are on ourselves, you give yourself a little forgiveness as far as understanding, hey, home isn't as established on purpose because I've got to get this where it needs to go before this is going to be where I want it to be. And if I just come home, I'm home and I'm spending more time. But is it productive?
Dude, understanding that takes so much fucking pressure off, dude.
Yeah.
Like if people just had that conversation with themselves, understood that like, hey, I'm at where I'm at and it's okay and it's serving a purpose because of this, dude, that's just like a sigh of relief.
And it's true.
Like, oh, fuck.
And
that's
dude,
such a huge weight off
I don't
my
know if you
shoulders.
listen to Gary Vee at all. Gary Vee online and different stuff. Entrepreneur guy. It's like he misses, and he works till 11 o'clock at night, like every fucking day, and he talks about it. And some people give him shit. And he's like, yeah, but some of you are at home. You're at home more than me, but you're on your fucking phone, or you're watching fucking Lost, some TV series. You're not engaging with your fucking kid.
Right.
You're at home. But are you productive? No.
No.
But I'm out here building something that needs to be built. And then he does say, like, he goes home now in the evening because he's local in New York. And when he is in town, he'll go home for like 2 hours. I think from like 6 to 8 or something like that. And he kind of bounces back out into the thing or whatever. But so he gives, he tries to hyper focus and give kids some time for a couple hours. I could be misspeaking. I do know he talked about it. But the bottom line is whether you're local or you're traveling or whatever, like, you just need to understand, like, hey, man, like, what phase am I in? And this is what the Marine Corps taught you, man, like with sacrifice. We didn't see fucking family. Even as instructors, yep, I'm not deployed right now. I'm in the States. I'm in Southern California. Yep, hey, hun, I might not be home this weekend because it's T-Day 13. Right. Okay, it's not Saturday. It's training day 14, and because we couldn't get that range because it was booked all week, we got to do it on a Saturday. Guess what? Marines are about to deploy. We're going to train them. It's a training day. It's not a Saturday. And then you just got to learn that. Now, the hard part is we know that, right? Entrepreneurs that really grind know that. You and I fucking know that. It's trying to have relationships with people that can get behind that. Because a lot of times we have to teach that. Now, to my defense, which is good for me, like Kate's father built a company, right? And then he sold his company to Hewlett-Packard.
She gets
legit entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That was never. They moved from the Philippines to Qatar.
Yeah.
Then from Qatar to America. And there was times where he was gone for 3 or 6 months, and he'd have to travel back and forth to see the family because they were still in one country when he was in another.
Yeah.
Right? So there's nothing I'm going to do
Sacrifice.
that's going to be away from my family more than her father was from hers. And she has perspective on it, right? So I have a huge piece of
It
that.
sounds like you have a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fucking phenomenal
saying?
team, man. Like, and she has her own career, but she still comes home and holds the house down. Like, I got it easy, bro. Like, she's the one that does incredible. But again, are there things I want to do with my kids? Yep. Are there things that I want to? Yes, but I also understand, like, hey, I know you want dessert. There's some fucking meat and potatoes you got to get done right now, motherfucker. So dessert's gonna be good, but you're gonna slam down meat and potatoes right quick and make sure that's good and that's
Old school.
done
You're an old school dad.
before you can reward it. You just have to,
do
man.
you have a switch plant out back? You know, is that what they call it? Switches?
No, man, I don't spank.
You don't spank? You're not a spanker?
Hey.
I think I'm going to grow up to be a spanker.
It all
Shit.
depends, man. Like, I
He's
think
been spanking me this whole time, bro.
I think I've spanked.
He's a spanker for sure.
You can't spank.
I can count on one hand the amount of times
I wasn't spanked. I wasn't spanked. I caught a couple good ones, but I wasn't like spanked.
There you go. What's a good one though?
We just talked about Greg Johnson.
Frying pan across the head.
Yeah.
We just talked about
You only need 2 of those, and you're
Captain
good.
Johnson,
Greg
Major Johnson, Greg Johnson.
Yeah. So
Dude,
he
I
was,
still
Marine with us.
remember him not slapping me. It was like a verbal slap, dude. He used
Will?
Psychological warfare.
He said, "I'm disappointed."
Oh, and he
shit.
listen, man.
I was
That
a
guy.
corporal. I was a corporal in Iraq. He put me in charge of the information operations campaign, and I was like, "Fuck the information operations campaign." And he knew I said, "Fuck it." And he called me out on it. He said, "Corporal, when they call you with like Corporal Adams, I'm disappointed."
You're like, oh, I forgot I'm a professional. Shit. Yeah, man.
It hit
Dude,
home.
it's important. I remember we were with this is when I was attached to SOCOM, man, and I was doing like fast stuff, and we had a guy, Captain Cook, shredded, bro. He looked like a G.I. Joe. Now he's on Wall Street doing trades, weird shit.
Still shredded?
I don't know. I'm talking
Wolf-
to the guy.
Wolf
He's
of
way
Wall Street?
He's a way bigger deal than me. But I remember, man, when I was there, man, you talk about training hard. I've never, dude, division schools was legit. SOCOM was just as legit, man, and training like that and being attached to those guys was phenomenal. And I remember, man, we used to get beat up a lot when we weren't doing correct. We're talking minor, man. And I remember one guy was kind of frustrated, and he was just kind of like, oh. And Captain Cook was like, hey, I'm not going to say the guy's name. And he's not in trouble. He was a good Marine. But he was frustrated, and he visibly looked frustrated at the end of the day when we were all kind of grouped up talking to Captain Cook. And he goes, hey, man, or hey, Marine, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing, sir. He goes, no. And like when we were attached to SOCOM, captains ran a platoon, not a company, a fucking platoon or smaller. Like if you were lead squad, that captain would go with you. That's how important those missions were. So we were doing that, and he goes, no, it's okay. I need you to speak freely to me. Don't tell me it's okay, sir. Tell me. And he goes, well, we're just, I feel like we're messing up a lot, but we're not. Like, we're doing a lot of things right, and we're doing a lot of things in training successful, but we don't really hear that. We just hear every little thing we're doing wrong. And Captain Cook didn't get mad, nothing. He goes, I respect that. I understand. He also understands he's talking to guys in their mids and young 20s too, right? And he's like, I understand that. Understand this in what we're training for. We're training for warfare. We're professional gunfighters. We're professional, which means if we do something good, no need to talk about it. I'm going to say that went well, and we're going to move on. Right. Because the clock's ticking until we deploy, or the clock's ticking until we get a phone call, and we got to go somewhere. But we're professional, which means we have to be good at everything we do.
Silent professional.
Yeah. So we're going to focus
that's
on.
That's that stay platoon talking.
Yeah, man. And like what was really cool, man, was he goes, hey, take some pride in the fact that we're down to the nitty gritty. If the only things we're doing wrong is these nitty gritty, take pride in that, because we are so far along. The only thing I have to tell you that we're doing wrong are small. However, we're not doing them correct, and they could cost, right? So you guys need to start looking at yourselves like professionals.
That's why I love Demon. Demon Jones stepped in and made music professional for us. This is no longer this, that, and the other, play rock star. You got kids, don't you? Yes, that's it. I do have kids. Yep. I do have a family, and I do want to do this for real.
Yeah.
And he's like, then every little bit counts.
Everything, dude. I talk about it.
Everything.
And I'm not sure if it makes sense all the time. But I've got a quote that I've been saying, and I'll kind of put on my post. And
if I know it, I'm gonna say
you're gonna know it. I say
this is my quote.
It's usually like at the end. It's usually at the end of like some of my paragraphs I write on Facebook. But I say everything matters all the time. Yeah, no way around it. Everything matters all the time. Whether it's in private and it's your own integrity and the things that you're saying to yourself. If it's in public and it's gonna like rub off on someone else, it doesn't matter. Everything matters all the time. Now, depending on how much level of effort you give something or what takes priority as far as your energy or your focus, what takes priority, that's different. But every bit of it matters all the fucking time.
It does.
All the time, man. And, it's just important. You know what I mean? And like, but that, and I got that young. So having that type of perspective, like, man, and then you start visualizing yourself. Like when I was a Marine, like, oh, we're not just going to go try. Like, no, we're professional. That was a fucking compliment. Hey, we are world recognized as the best of the best. From the infantry, no one talks about SOCOM, and now we got MARSOC and different shit in the Marine Corps. There's pride in the infantry. And you got Navy SEALs, Jocko, Chris Kyle, a lot of guys that have been on the news that compliment infantry Marines on how, you want to take over a country? Send a squad of Marines. Yep. They didn't say MARSOC. They didn't say reconnaissance. They said send a squad of Marines. That's infantry Marines. There's a pride in the Marine Corps from infantry on up on how professional we are. Now, dude, there's pride in that. But it's also, you got to have that type of visualization, right? Like you got to see yourself. So when he shed some light on me with that, like, hey, and he was talking to the whole group. But when I started thinking like, we're professionals. You work harder. Right. You take pride in paying attention to details because you're looking at yourself different. And that correlates to business, man. Like when you start seeing yourself a certain way, when you understand the phase you're in, and when you start seeing yourself in a certain light, you do take yourself serious. And one of the examples I'm sure you can speak to coming from the infantry, some guys that like maybe were talented but weren't doing the best, were kind of burnt out, make them a team leader.
Oh yeah, that was the number one. That was a good strategy.
Give them something to own.
Right.
Hey, this
something
is yours.
To do.
Hey, listen, you're good to go. And like they're kind of gaffing some things off, not because they're a bad Marine. They're just kind of burnt out, and they're naturally talented, some other guys. So having to repeat shit makes them bored and different stuff. Right. Hey, don't shun that guy.
Well, it kind of took me some time to understand what professional was to me, because in my mind it was like very materialistic. And like you said, everything matters. Caring is professional. And I was more on the, I guess, society-based interpretation saying that I had to have a tie and a hat and a Subaru to be professional.
A Subaru.
You know, and it just
That's awesome.
well, I did it. I got
tell.
out of the Marine Corps.
Hey,
I
you
worked for Confio Software,
Yeah,
selling
dude.
software, driving a Subaru to Boulder for about
Yeah.
34 days.
Yep. 34
Brother,
days.
It did not last. So he called me in and said, "JT, this ain't gonna work." And I said, "You're right." You know, and so that was my interpretation of professional.
I'm so glad I met you, dude.
And
I'm so glad.
well,
This isn't gonna work. You're right.
isn't
Just
gonna
like
work.
earlier.
You're right, dude.
Hey,
I walked in with a hat on that said "disgruntled veteran, leave me the fuck alone" or something like that. It was like casual Friday, not that casual. You know?
Oh shit,
Oh
dude.
my god.
And so for
bro.
me, it was hard to understand what is professional. And so once I kind of like said, "Hey, me waking up and doing a Facebook post in your pajamas,"
Yeah.
but it, you know, it's professional. If it impacts and you cared and it branded it right, because a lot of people aren't doing those Facebook posts.
Right.
A lot of people are talking about that they're doing them though.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
No, let me be real. Let's go and switch that fucker up. I know you're high. Switch that fucker up.
I'm so high.
So we talk about like, hey,
Look
you
at
and
that
your
smile.
Professionals.
So
right?
when you say like, hey, you and your message in your PJs was professional,
Yeah.
but I can see a post where a guy is in a suit
Right.
and it's not professional.
It's so egotistical.
And here's what I'm talking about. They're not being true to who they are. Now, I'm not saying every guy in a suit. I've got friends that wear
I hate
suits,
suits.
but some guys own them.
I'm a non-suit. What's the word? Not pro.
an anti-suiter.
You
Anti-suit.
guys got to talk.
Anti-suiter.
Hold down the fork because I got to piss. Be right back.
Anti-suit, man. That's
'Kay.
where I'm at in life. And like that's what I love is that, you know, Will said it today on the phone when you were talking to somebody. You're like, "Hey, I really want to make sure I'm a button-up jean guy.
Yeah.
That's what I want to stay true with." And I failed, and I bet a lot of people that are watching this failed. Is that this is what I genuinely would wear every
is
day
your
of the
uniform
week.
right here, yeah.
But for some reason, I felt like who I was in the truth with who I was wasn't professional enough.
Yeah. Well, dude, you have to try. Like,
You
I
do.
think that's one thing. You have to try. You have to say that you did it and be like, but some people, it fucking kind of works and they just fucking roll with it. But for guys like you and I, yeah, you try it out and then it's like, yeah, no, hey, fuck this, right?
Gotta try this one.
I'm gonna find another way. What you got here, man?
So yours vibrates.
yeah, you like that?
There should be like a warning.
caution?
On it. Yeah, like, I'm thinking I'm going to be a victim of an
Normally,
explosion.
I warn people,
I thought it was going to explode.
but there's no button or anything, so they do that so you know if it's hitting or not. No, it's good though. What you got, man?
So that is a Willie's Reserve.
Oh, that shit's good.
Yeah, and that's the new vape cartridge
The
battery
expensive shit.
that my girlfriend brought home. That hits hard.
Not bad, right?
So my girlfriend works at a dispensary, brother,
Yeah, cool.
and so she'll bring home samples, test
Yep.
tries, and I was talking to Will
Yeah.
about dabs.
Yeah. Oh God, he's got a great story. I'm sure he told you.
Yeah, he told
Yep.
me.
Yep.
Is crash acting. That's good though. I mean, and that's where in the answer kind of the question about where I'm going, I really don't know,
Yeah.
but I do know where I want to go is where I'm going in my mind right now.
Yep.
And I'm so happy as an individual, content as an individual. So if I can continue to grow that, then I'm happy. And I know music's going to be in that equation. It's the most consistent thing in my life. What I'm more concerned about is like what Will was talking about with that balance is having my freedom of my mind. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm genuine. For a while there, I wasn't. For a long time, I was just breathing and doing.
Bro, that's so. Listen to me. That's so. Listen
Listening.
to me. Please listen.
Ears, eyeballs, right now.
Oh, that's boot camp.
987, I'm back. Freaking when I took a piss, I freaking counted myself down.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
I shook twice.
Oh, that
Oh
shit's
my God.
awesome. It's
love
so
it.
important to understand
great
when,
voice.
like, what did you say when you were lost or dark?
I think what I'm saying is that like on this journey that we're all on,
Yeah.
people pick and choose what path they want to go. I've chosen that it's more important for me to be more myself and free in my mind and
Yep.
content. And what's really funny is that shit's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not funny. And here's
It's
what's
not a hard
It's
equation.
interesting. Like, well, it's hard.
It
Here's
takes
what,
time.
dude. It's hard, but it's simple, but it's not easy. As in,
100%. Yeah.
That's the best way
like
to
climbing
put it.
Mount Everest. Yeah, go up.
Right.
Yep. The concept behind
Get out of my head, Marine.
the concept behind climbing Mount Everest. We get it. Walk up there. Walk up. The process and how hard it is, and then staying true to that process and not giving up is hard, man.
Progress circle.
It is, man. And again, like we talk about being lost, or we had a podcast where I was talking about when you go dark. It's important. And again, man, like you're conscious in your subconscious mind. And the reason why it's so important to be true to yourself and true to who you want to be, regardless of your industry or what you want to, being true to yourself is because when you have those moments where you go dark, you don't know up, you don't know down, nothing. What's going to push you in the right direction when it's dark is being true to yourself. That's your only beacon, especially in those moments, right? Like, so if you're doing anything else but being yourself, when it goes dark, you will have no idea which way to go, right? It's important, man. And you've had struggle with transition and who do I want to be and where do I want to go with it all? And it's molded itself into something successful because I think the entire time it was just finding out who you were.
But I'm so thankful for those dark moments because it allowed me to use other senses, bro.
Says everyone, and I fucking agree. That's the most cliche statement we think we hear.
So true.
But it's only cliche.
Because I cried.
Ooh.
I cried, and I still love the cry. I could cry right
I get
now.
it.
I could cry right now.
I got tears for days, son.
No, I get it. I get it. And I think, and I don't mean as cliche as in you don't mean what you say. I agree. I've cried in front of him for 3 hours in this fucking basement because the things he was saying, he didn't realize it was a trigger. And I had to explain it to him. But the point is, it's not cliche because it's a bad statement. It's cliche because everyone wants to fucking say it who doesn't rate that yet. Right. And let's put that into your world. If I like a song, Jason Aldean comes out with a song, okay? And then it becomes cliche or watered down or not good anymore. It's not because the song's not good. It's because every radio station played it 12 times a day. Right. And you're numb to it. So when we talk about, hey, I'm thankful for the dark and the struggle and where it brought me, the problem is there's people out there saying that don't rate to say that yet. They haven't gone through it. They're just saying it because it sounds fancy. So it's making that a cliche statement. When in reality, it's not cliche. It's fucking spot on. And that's what's so hard about new entrepreneurs or new artists or whatever it is trying to weed through the bullshit. Because someone could say something true, but it's not true because the individual is not true. The statement's accurate, but you're saying some shit. I made a post on Facebook about a dog tag, right, and what they're made of. Well, nowadays, you can buy a dog tag made out of better material, and you can get a photo engraved on it. Way cooler than ours. There's no blood, there's no dent, there's no sweat, there's no earning shit behind that dog tag. Don't be the dog tag from the mall. Whatever you do in life, just don't be that. But that's the problem, man, is you got dog tags from the mall getting worn around people's neck that looks like a fucking dog tag.
You know what? I'm gonna stop talking because I'm gonna tell. I don't want no one knowing the secret. I want them to keep going and getting them dog tags at the mall, dog. Keep doing it because I'm just.
You know why? No. You know why? Because he's fucking selling them out of his trunk. That's why he's wait.
Yeah, I got those dog tags.
He's looking at me like, wait.
You need
people
dog
buy
tags?
dog tags?
I got dog tags.
Hey, what's the margin on those dog tags?
Oh, shit.
Fucking salesman.
I got a link. I'll post it up in the thing.
Dude, I love it, man.
Custom dog tags.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure there was. We talked about Pito. We talked about the importance of Pito. Obviously, his anniversary and passing away is tomorrow. Yep. Super important Marine.
Dude, he got me on the LA Dodgers and carne asada and Corona.
Okay.
We should have a Corona. You said you had
some? Corona. I got
Dude,
Corona.
We should pop a Corona.
We will pop a Corona.
We're doing
Absolutely.
that. And then that's in Jason's name right there.
Absolutely, man. And I want to bring up something interesting too, and it could be ironic. You know what? Let me talk about things being ironic. I think in life, everything is what you make of it. So if something happens and you say, that's just ironic, you're right. It's just ironic. And if something happens and you go, wow, that fucking means something. That's there for a reason. You're right. It's there for a reason. It's all in how you approach and how you take things, right? I'm big on that. So you were talking to me this morning and you go, hey, man, because we were talking about Pito's anniversary. And you were like, hey, man, the day he passed was the day my son was born. Oh, and you already know what I'm about to say because I go, hey, motherfucker. Yep. I had a friend, Calvin, pass away in California. I was part of Bastards and Manny Those Cats, and they knew him a lot better. And but I was going through transition, man, of just being in a new career, driving a car that's not mine, and a tie I don't fucking like, and different stuff, and found out Calvin passed away. And again, other guys were closer to him than I was, right? I don't want to make it something that it's not, but I still respect the guy, liked the guy, met him several times, good dude. And when he passed away, it hit me and it knocked the wind out of me, not just because he was gone, but it forced me to just look at what I was doing. Like, hey, man, am I doing all I can? Am I doing the right things? Like, you never know when your day is. Mm-hmm. You got guys all over the place. That it's in front of you, man. You just never know. Like, hey, are you really doing all you can? And are you,
man,
you know?
He tells me that many times throughout the year, bro. Be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like I think about him. I think about what happened.
Here's what's crazy, though. And I told you this earlier today. The same day, right, that Calvin passed away, I'm on the phone. You know, I'm coming home from I just started real estate, dude. I'm coming home and I'm talking to Kate, and I tell her, and she's all sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry for me, man. Like, I'm sorry for the guys that super knew him. I'm trying to deflect, right? And I get home and she's still crying. She's still, and I'm like, man. And I was like, no, like it's, hey, don't be that for me. There's other guys that are going through more, because he had closer friends than me. And here's what people don't talk about. That guy was a co-owner of Bastards. So not only did he pass away and it's sad, those guys got to pick up the slack. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing when you lose a guy in a squad, when you deploy. Yeah, it's sad, but now you're not getting a replacement. This isn't a video game. Right. Now someone has to pick up the slack. We're one man law, and you got to deal with that too. So those guys were dealing with keeping Bastards where it needs to be, right? Right. So I'm like, hey, don't feel bad for me. Of course I miss him, but I'm more upset because it slapped me in the face with perspective.
Big time. Right?
So as I'm explaining it, she's like, no, I got to talk to you. That's what Kate told me. And I go, oh, here it comes. We're not together anymore. What'd you? And she's not a cheater. She's not that. But I'm like, what is it like? Mm-hmm. You know? And there's an envelope on the counter. And I'm like, oh, she wrote me a John Deere. And I showed up. I came home from work. And now you're just going to say it to me instead of me reading it when I got home. Right? So I'm like, okay, well, let me get some water. I go to the kitchen. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And she goes, I'm pregnant. The same day, within hours of finding out about Calvin. Yeah. Same thing like with you. So and
you found out about Cash and being pregnant.
And again, man, like, so we talked about like just the universe and energy, and like how the day your son was born.
That's the day Carter was born.
Yeah, man, was the day Peter passed away.
It's a great day. At the older I'm getting and the more times come in between, I'm interpreting, like you're saying, taking away something from it. Yeah. And then using that. Mm. Because, dude, it's gone, bro. And that trips me out that we're sitting here enjoying whiskey, smoking this stuff, talking. Our brain is doing all this. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip. Yep. If you start dissecting what the hell's going on. And having that moment hit you like a freight train, it's a blessing. Yeah. Because that sacrifice, and even though it might be one way to say it or not, but he's still doing something for me in my life. Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah. As a person.
It's super
and
powerful.
Pito had that presence. Mm-hmm. When he told you, shut up, suck it up, as I can hear him right now.
He did, man. Yeah. And I only knew him for a year, you know, but again, just the impact he had. And I don't think that time is necessarily justice. I can know someone for 20 years and have no impact on my life. So I think just the moment that I was around when I met him, and just the amount of influence he had in the short amount of time I was around him, is what was huge.
Well, my influence and my perspective changes with my experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah.
Like, dude, I used to, go left, and then the next thing you know, you're going right. And you know what I'm saying?
It shows you're growing, like, though, man.
Never thought I'd go that way.
It shows you're growing, though, dude.
Yeah, it does. And you're probably just analyzing your thoughts a lot more, and you're being more decisive with business and being true to yourself. And then, like him and I were talking, like, we're not just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks anymore. Yeah, right. Now that we're at that intermediate level where some things have stuck, and we're having some we're very productive with what we're doing. Like now, man, like we're not just punch, like, like an amateur fighter just throws 100 punches in a second and looks like little cat punches and, doing that versus like, a Conor McGregor or somebody more decisive. Hey, I'm not going to punch you 100 times in the first round, but my timing and my distance, and when I choose to punch, it's going to hit. And it's going to hit fucking hard. That's where him and I are getting in business, man. Is we're not just throwing 1,000 punches out there anymore. Like,
you think you could whoop Conor McGregor?
in a second.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Fucking second. I might give him 3 seconds.
No doubt, right?
Only
No
because I
doubt.
like his whiskey and I might be taking a shot. I give him 3 seconds. After that, he's getting fucking murked.
Mopping him.
I'm 245 pounds, bro. I understand, like, he's super strong, and if he gets you on that
Hey
jaw,
man, I'm gonna make your shirts.
you see
Please,
his fucking jaw,
dude, please.
you see this head, and you and I both know, hey man, we don't have rounds in our fucking world.
Grime time.
Yeah, I fucking knew it was
I was
coming.
gonna say
shit,
grime
bro.
time is the grind time.
Dude.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
good, man.
Look at him.
Good.
He's a
Good
rapper.
with that.
Don't give him
Yeah.
that much crowd.
It's still good.
It is
It's
good.
still
Okay.
good.
It is good. But you know what I mean, right? Like as you wise up and you start seeing things from a different perspective and you absorb a lot more, you're also more decisive in business, as in, hey, listen, I'm not gonna throw 30 punches in a second. But the punches I do throw are gonna land and they're gonna hurt. Same thing in business. Like Kim and I are getting very dialed in with where are we going with some things, you know, and where do we have some momentum? And we see that, and that's where we want to strike. But we triple down into that alley versus when we first started, we were doing a lot of everything just to try to figure out what was going to work and not work. But now that we've got that, we're not necessarily throwing as many punches, but the ones that we are throwing out there, they're dialed.
Right.
And you're 10 times more productive.
And you got to stay
throwing
relevant, and that's with
Yeah.
your material, with your videographer, and what y'all have coming out. Man, when I see y'all stuff, it's like no one else is doing that. You know, you're so relevant with what's attracting people.
Well, and likewise, dude. Like, and that's the thing. Like,
Yeah, no shit. Country rap, but it's baller,
Yeah.
dude. It's fucking baller, son.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, just, you know, I mean, I like it, man. We kick a beat, you know what I'm saying? And that's just the life that I'm living by now, is like not taking things so serious, but taking the right things serious.
Right.
Family.
Yep.
That's the thing that I've grown into a lot. Like my kids, you know, and my relationship that I'm in now is the most important thing.
Yeah.
In that, whatever that thing is, that has its own circle.
Venn diagram.
Yeah.
You know, I like how Eli
Venn diagram.
Eli knows it all for us. Fucking fucking nerd.
He
I
has
know.
that smile to
You
him.
and I would have beat him up on the playground.
You don't even know the word
For
I was
sure.
thinking about. It had like it started with a P, I think.
Here's
Like the P was silent in my word.
well, and when you say like for me, like for you, right? Like family's most important. And that's what you want to prioritize. Like I'm the same way. Please understand, you did not just hear me say time with family is most important. I said family is most important. And this is where you have to have perspective of like, hey, I miss a lot of family. Eli misses a lot of family. You miss a lot of family. Doesn't make them not important. They're most important, but it's what we're trying to establish and what we're trying to have sustainability in order to create a future where we can spend more time with family because we've established something. But if you never become established, you're always going to juggle and you're always going to struggle. And like, yeah, you get more time with your family, but you're broke or you're worried or you're unemployed or you're not happy. And if you're not happy, then the time with your family is not productive at all, man. Like you're going to be that guy living in quiet despair. You got that fire that's burning inside you, but you can't show it or express it because you decided to settle or quit or do, you know, or I got to spend more time with family. So you didn't chase what you were passionate about and you didn't create something extraordinary. You went and worked for the man. Now, if you work for the man, because that's you, I'm all for that. Lawyers, doctors, IT people, I'm not saying don't work for the man. If that's for you, great. But if it's not and you chose to give up on other stuff because you needed more time to watch fucking movies with your kids, no, man. You're not teaching them anything, right?
Well,
like
and
you
I
live
think
in quiet despair and you're not teaching your kids anything.
That's why I think all of us are good at that concentrated effort, right? So when you are at home, like taking that time to actually connect, actually interact with your kids, actually be a dad.
And I got to be me.
Yeah.
So, Cash, Chloe, that's a cowboy, man. Like, whether it was gunslinging and you're a cowboy like that or being a little against the grain and creating business and doing stuff for yourself. Like, and I talk a lot about that, you know, and that's why I love country rap too, man, because there's a couple of things. You know, I think Luke Bryan came out with like a What Makes You Country song.
Okay.
A little cliche.
Right.
I know he's pop country, but it was a cool ideology with the song of like, look, what makes you country, man? And he has some lyrics in there about corporate America and different stuff, but I like it because, again, it's all mindset. And, like, for me, I've always kind of, like, referenced being a cowboy and, like, nope, I don't wear a cowboy hat. You're not going to catch me in cowboy boots, but there's a certain image that I see within myself or when I visualize a cowboy of, like, just being against the grain, being able to just get up, dust yourself off, and keep fucking moving, man. And, like, yeah, gunslinging. There's definitely some cowboy shit in that. But then again, just the mentality of being able to shoulder losses, you know, being able to get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. And like
family being the number one thing helps me make the right choice at the right time.
that's
Because
a great
as an
point.
artist and as a musician on the road, you know, you have a lot of temptations. You know, a lot of choices.
Junk food's out there,
Dude, I'm a
All
junk
over,
food
right?
fanatic. You know,
What did you mean something
didn't-
else?
I didn't do as bad this time. I actually did a lot better on my junk food. But there's a lot of temptations. There's a lot of choices that you need to make right there on the spot, and having your priorities right helps you make those choices.
You need a North Star. You need
And
a
I'm
North
scared
Star.
I'm scared of my girl. Dude.
Yeah.
Are
Like-
you?
Oh, dude,
fuck,
terrified.
likewise,
Is she
bro.
white?
She's white, bro.
Yeah.
Don't give me anything.
Dude, I don't even know what you're going through, bro. I can't imagine. So Darla was a pro MMA fighter, man.
Oh, shit.
that's right.
Dude, she's scary.
I get that.
So
A healthy
and
dose
I'm-
of fear is
and
good, I think.
and
There's
I'm
different
just
kinds of
joking
scary
there.
too. No, you're not. She
I'm
head
not,
kick you.
I'm not joking. I
I'm
am
fucking
I'm
joking.
serious, dude.
I hope she fucking
she
punches
does,
you for even
bro.
saying you were joking.
Oh man, I can't wait. Oh jeez.
No, I get it. And yours is literal.
That's
Mine is
awesome.
too because my lady's Asian.
Oh dude.
She's like super petite, super
She does that-
pretty, super soft spoken.
quick.
Yeah, she does.
She's quick and she,
Yep.
she's real quick.
Here's my fear though. Like I don't know what she would do. Like I don't know if it'd be something quick with a knife, or anytime like your girl's got that
Like one of
little
those
crazy
fans,
side.
Yeah.
like the
It's
fan
unpredictable.
blade, you know.
Yeah, like a
She
fan-
went like
I'll
that.
Like
correlate to
Chun-Li.
this. When I played Little League baseball, there was this pitcher in Little League played for the Rams. This black kid threw super hard, but he was super inaccurate. So every time he stood in the box, you didn't know if the ball was coming at your fucking head or if he was going to throw a strike. And when he threw a strike, you're like, wow, fuck. I'm too busy worried about him taking my head off. I don't swing at the strike. So he was good because he was like, he just sucked, but he threw hard.
So
Okay.
you're saying you got a lot of
Now, when you hit the
debris
professional,
that comes at you. Statistically, one's gonna land.
when you hit the professional level, guys are throwing strikes, and if they're throwing balls, and if they're throwing it at your head, it's on purpose, and it's few and far between because guys have more control.
Yeah.
Now, even though the ball's coming faster at the professional level and it's breaking harder at the professional level, you're more comfortable in the box because you're not 8 years old worried about him hitting you in the fucking head. Now, what I'm getting at is, so your girl being a pro fighter,
Yeah,
she
pro.
might. So she's the professional thrower that, like, look, her fastball's harder, but it's accurate. Mine is the other one. Kate's the little league pitcher because when they got a little crazy side to him, I don't know what it's gonna be. At least you know your girl's gonna punch you or kick
Well,
you,
Kate could put something in your food.
right?
Yeah.
And she's
That's
and
that
she
Asian
cooks.
move.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it is, totally.
So for me, it's
Like, you want some tea?
No. But there's just those other unknown variables. But no, and all joking aside, man, like I can't do it without her, man. But
I worry just
know.
when I go to sleep.
I like how this turned into like
the way Darla
how our
will
wives
say-
are gonna kill
the way
us.
Darla will say
Hey,
goodnight.
you know who's got the craziest wife? The motherfucker that's not talking over
That's
there.
true, bro.
The motherfucker over there,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
so scared to even give an example. He's gonna sit over there and laugh, drink his drink,
Dude,
and
I don't
pretend.
blame you, dude. I should have done that.
Megan's watching this.
I should have done
right
that.
now
I
for
should
sure.
just shut up.
I love
That
you.
shit's
I love
funny,
you,
bro.
babe.
Dude, this
I love you.
I got a story I want to tell you, Grimes. You're gonna love this.
I like how he calls me Grimes. I haven't heard that in a while. I like it.
And also, I got to get this off my head. Cody Grimes was a little league pitcher, and he threw a fastball, and he hit me in the head.
Oh shit!
So I had to get that out. And there's a story,
my
dude.
God.
And
Was
I
he
might
black or was he white?
He's a white guy with freckles, and maybe he had freckles. I remember him with freckles for some
Probably had
reason.
freckles. Grimes.
Grimes,
Irish.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's Greek.
Greek. Yeah.
I'm mixed,
Yep.
man. The Grimes comes from the Irish side, so Grimes can either be, I think it's like German or something, or Irish. It all depends on, and like my family did their like DNA shit. Our Grimes side derives from Graham, which is Irish.
Ah, yeah.
They were
So you do have-
y'all were drug dealers.
Yeah, I think so. We were horse robbers. So you do have Grimes that's like more, I think more German or something like that. But then there's an Irish side, and Grimes derives from Graham. So I guess we came from that side.
No hesitation. Yeah, horse robbers.
Horse robbers.
And being half Greek, how's that feel?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of a
Can you
mutt.
feel? Can you feel like you're Greek? Do you feel Greek?
I feel me.
Feel
go.
me.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel.
Such a
Greek
Will
in me.
answer right there.
And I don't know if
feel
y'all
me.
saw that, but he flexed.
I moved my arm.
No, I
Did
know, he
flex?
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
did you hear about that bird that got a late start heading south for the winter?
No, but I feel it coming.
I might have told you this one years ago.
Is this a story that you want to tell?
Well, dude, this bird got a late start. heading south.
This bird.
There's a bird, man, and in mid-flight, man, he's flying through this blizzard. His wings lock up. You know what I mean? Like from the froze, you know, mid-flight, and he comes crashing down. Eli comes crashing down, and he crashes into this big open field.
Okay.
And he lands in this big pile of shit. Fresh, too. Okay. Nice and warm.
So hold on a minute. His wings fucking froze because it's so cold.
In the blizzard, man.
So that shit must have just
fresh.
Came out of some ass.
Super fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a big storm, and he didn't know about people heading out.
Gotcha.
He didn't have Wi-Fi, and so he got a late
procrastinating.
He procrastinated,
yeah.
And he got a late start. Wings froze.
Yep.
Crashed out of the sky. Landed into a big pasture full of manure, and he landed in a fresh one. Luckily, he landed in it because it started defrosting his wings. You didn't hear about this? It started defrosting his wings, dude, and he started wiggling, bro. And he started coming out of the shit, and he poked his little beak out of the shit, and he could breathe. And he was so happy that he could breathe. He knew he was going to live. And he started whistling for joy. Well, a fucking field cat across the way heard him whistling, came over and ate him. Did you hear about that?
No.
The headline said, "What's the moral of the story?"
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, it said, people that get you in shit ain't always your enemy. People that get you out of shit ain't always your friend.
Yeah.
And when you're in deep shit, shut the fuck up.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
That's what I'm taking away.
Listen,
good, man.
that is some country shit.
That's
right
country,
there.
dude.
I had not heard about that.
You didn't hear about that
but
one?
I'm glad that
Here's
I did,
what-
man.
I wish you-
Never,
said it-
and this is where I started thinking about it, because you and I were talking the other day, and we said, I miss the days when all I had to do
Oh yeah.
was shut the fuck up, dog.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up and be here and learn.
Hey, yeah, we were talking about this the other day when and I remember, when you carry the burden of leadership, and I'm using burden deliberately. We welcome that.
Did you say bird?
Burden.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said, it's like, I know a turkey story. Like, I got more.
The burden of it's leadership sounds romantic nowadays, right? Like the burden of, but like, oh yeah, eating last and putting people first. Man, it sounds so cool. It's not. It's either you or it's not. And you've got to have a huge why as far as like that's what you do. And I don't even know mine. I think it's just me. I just bleed that I want to have influence, but it's not romantic. Mm-hmm. It's not fancy. It's not fun. It's honorable. Right. And that's kind of how I see some of the responsibilities in the Marine Corps. It's not fancy. It's not fun. It's not romantic.
Well,
it's not highlighting. It's honorable because the other Marines that watch what you're doing respect you, and respect amongst your peers is important. So for me, leadership is not always fun. It's not romantic. It's not sexy like everybody's making it. It's honorable, because when you can put that much sacrifice and time and sweat and energy into someone and they end up coming out on top and successful, the thank that they have for you is worth it. We just don't talk about that. Leadership and being a mentor is just a thing nowadays, right?
A lot of things, like love.
All of it.
My mom and I were talking, and we were talking about the word love, and that's so saturated.
Yeah.
You just got to feed and find and work your way through that mud to be able to find value behind things, and that's your individual responsibility.
Well, and I agree, and I think, as far as, what you're talking about, like with leadership and stuff, you really only learn that stuff if you see it somewhere else, right? Like you saw that amazing leadership with the guys that were there when you came in.
Maybe.
And it's like, and it gave you some level of like, oh, this is what good leadership is like. Now you have some sort of bar that you can measure against.
True.
Most fucking people, they just don't have that. They just don't experience that level of leadership.
Yeah, but if you got a burning desire to just be better, because I like what you say, but that's my lens. But I don't want to disagree with the fact that there are some great leaders out there that don't come from great leadership. They just got so frustrated with mediocrity or inadequacy or people getting taken advantage of. They just finally stepped up and did it better, and they set the fucking bar.
Yep, 100%.
I think Kenny Chesney's the one that came out and said, the day I became successful is the day that I woke up and decided to be successful.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it might have been like
just that decision, man. So whether it's being successful, whether it's being
Tony
a leader,
Romo.
Yeah. Who knows? But just the ideology. So let's say you don't come from good leadership, but just the ideology of making a decision of like, I'm going to go out there and do it better. Like, I'm tired of watching this be done differently. I mean, listen, man, you can go back in time. You can look at Martin Luther King's. There are people within our our memory, or maybe not within our lifetime because we weren't born, but it has been documented. There are people that did not come from something that became the tip of the spear.
For sure.
That
For
became
sure.
the standard,
Yep.
right? So I do think it's twofold. My lens was like, yeah, man, the bar was set super high, and fortunately I had great leadership around me in the Marine Corps, and it gave me that standard. Would I have still been a leader if I didn't have that? I don't know.
Yes.
I would hope so.
I believe so, because it was there's another guy, Mike Walk. Mike Walk, and there's maybe a couple more guys that, if I thought real hard about it, that stand out to me in the Marine Corps. And it wasn't the Marine Corps, it was you.
Yeah.
You know, at your bare self.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I knew
You know,
that.
you would have been successful with the Marine
Dude.
Corps or not.
Yeah.
Day
100%.
day one of him and I working together, we were in the office. I heard him on a phone call, and like I heard him just have a conversation.
I was 2 months into
As-
real estate.
Yeah, like 3-4 deals in, something like that.
2.
And it was like,
No,
and I heard him
4,
on a
yeah.
phone call, and I was just like, listen, I'm like, he got a phone. I was like, how the fuck did you learn how to talk like that? Like, even just from like a technical perspective of like real estate conversation with this lender, and
He's
like,
a good bullshitter.
bro, but accurate too.
But accurate.
It's like,
So accurate.
yeah, but
Well,
accurate.
It's the same thing. I gave him a class. I don't know what's the stupidest class. Like, I don't know, put on tourniquet on, something dumb. And he took it and ran. The next thing I know, I'm giving him 4 classes.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that day. Like, you're teaching assaulting, you're
Yep.
teaching this.
Yeah.
Because these dudes suck.
Yep, dude, that was me. Day one, I was like,
Yeah.
Where
bro,
have you been my whole life?
Yeah, yeah. And it was maybe a month after that we were like partners in
I'm
business.
having another cup, dude.
Absolutely.
You want to
man.
switch it up?
I'm gonna go grab a water and go pee.
Okay.
All right, so JT and I are going to
Yeah.
talk. So
Good thing
I'm
I
going to
have-
run
I-
this.
It looks like I'm the only one that has discipline at this table.
What do you mean? With water?
No, dude.
Bladder control.
Yeah, I'm gangster over here.
Bladder
I've
control.
peed,
oh,
I've
you're
peed-
right.
I've peed in a bottle
Hey,
3
dude,
times
That's from being on
already.
tour, man. You can't just.
You
like,
got to pee in the bottle, dog, right here.
so you have. So what you're saying is you have an unfair advantage.
No, dude, I'm saying I got to piss like a racehorse.
Do you got to piss?
So bad, but I'm going to hold it, dog.
You got to hold it.
I hold it. And what's really funny, here's a
Why don't
little
you go
secret
first,
for
bro?
everybody, is that I actually go on stage.
Yeah, he's the guest. You should let him go.
I
first.
go on. I don't want to go. I'm serious, dude. I don't want to go. I want to
Does
hold
it,
it.
does
It-
holding your pee like puff
well,
up your dick and
I
make it
don't
look
know.
bigger?
I don't know about that, but I do know that I hold my piss. This is a little nugget of knowledge. I hold my piss before I get on stage, and I go on stage having to pee.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Brian, he'll take a big giant dump, dude.
Oh, that sounds like my kind of dude.
That's him, man. 5 minutes before on stage, where like the intro music's playing, and you can hear Brian's chains hitting the bathroom floor. And it's like, what are you doing, dog?
Bro, that is dude, that is fucking awesome. And I think that's what's fun for like people to hear too, man. It's just like the actual, and this is why podcasts are so fun. We were talking earlier when I was watching like Steven Tyler on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I'm not like the biggest Steven Tyler fan. I like the guy. I think he's cool. He's got some good music, but he's not like for me. But just listening to that dude's like 50-year history on Joe Rogan's podcast, and thanks through his lens and funny shit and dumb shit and serious shit, and how close the show almost didn't come to fruition because of dumb shit. Like just hearing it through his point of view,
Yeah.
super interesting. It makes the guy grow on you because you start sympathizing. As far we're humans, man. The one benefit of being human is I don't need to go through something to picture what it would be like. So you start relating to people, you start understanding like what they're talking about as they paint that picture for you. We have that reason, we have the ability. It's like if you describe something to me about being on stage and you talk about people in a crowd, like I've never done it, but I can start imagining what it might be like. And I think that's what's so fun about podcasts and just getting behind the scenes a bit, as far as like just hearing funny stories or just other shit, whether we're talking about the Marine Corps and dumb shit there or on stage and dumb shit there. It's just interesting, man.
It is, man. I love it. I love the setup. I love the fact that it's a free game, no left and right lateral limits. You're not restricted on what we are going to talk about. You got a couple things bulletized, and I appreciate.
And that was more to keep us on track because
Right.
there were some things I just wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, dude. I think the biggest thing that I wanted to take away is this is my first time,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be able to be in that conversation where you don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10 times things in my life is an itinerary.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to say when that song comes on. I
Yep.
have a verse. It's scripted.
Yep.
I know where I'm going to stand. Coming in here, it's like Eli was saying, you walk away with a sense of therapy.
Yeah. Well, and dude,
I feel it.
just full
It
disclosure.
might be the weed in the whiskey.
No, it's not.
It's all
Because
of it, man.
Well, and here's what's fun. Like when we first started this podcast, again, we talk about like being on all the time. Like this was like our shut off. Believe it or not, man. As much as we try to be guided with our conversations and give good topics and bring value, this was where we got to come have fun. We got to come around. And we're not around family. We're not around work. We get to come be ourselves and create a podcast. And yes, bring value. But I think just with him and I's nature, I don't just do things that aren't productive. I don't just go fuck off that has no rhyme or reason. Like everything I do,
Progress circle, dog.
even when it's fun, you're right. There's still some rhyme or reason to it. So with him and I having a great time and being able to articulate thought and get out here and do this, man, it's productive. But again, it's just a release.
Your head is like a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Man, I
is.
thought he was going to call my head.
Well, and
No, it's like a file. Like everything has its place, its order. It's, You know what I'm saying?
Hit that
Like,
button. Are you too high? You want me to operate this motherfucker?
back in the groove.
everything kind of has its place in your mind, and I saw that. Like I saw Will when he stepped out and had a couple beers or enjoyed his time, and then you see Will. And I think that's important, like you were saying with that switch, is that some people,
Compartmentalize, man.
Well, some people, dude, they get they come off the road and then they don't go back on the road.
right.
Yeah.
You got to go back on the road, dog.
Yep.
The weekend is for you to breathe.
Yep.
If you use that analogy,
Yeah.
not for you to like not come back.
Well, dude, such a huge part of that is again having fun at what you're doing. You have to want to get better at
Dude,
it.
you know
have
what's
to
fun?
want to like.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm going to forget.
Go
You know
ahead.
what's fun is when you can go have fun with productive dudes.
Right.
that. Yeah,
So we were talking to one of our boys, Michael Griffin, the other
You
day.
want to drink more of this?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm good, man.
You're good? All right.
Yeah.
Is it good? Like I want some more?
No, I'm good.
Have
Good,
at
good.
it,
I'm
though.
good too. Then
Are you sure?
are you good?
I'm
good.
still drinking.
Well, did you drink mine?
drinking. I think I did.
I think you drank mine.
I think I did.
He drank yours.
I'm pretty sure
I was
did.
wondering. We have the same cup.
I'm pretty
See
sure.
how
I
he
did.
has your back? He's got your back. We were talking to my buddy Michael Griffin the other day. No, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And we were, it was cool, man. So Michael Griffin, good buddy of ours, entrepreneur, super successful, super good dad.
super sexy Asian.
Asians.
I know.
You got a thing for Asians?
No, he's
does,
a
man.
guy.
He does.
Well, he's still,
Oh.
I'd fuck him.
Yeah, he's.
Are Asians
God,
are
he's
Asians
handsome,
good
dude.
friends? You think Asians are better friends than white people?
No, not necessarily.
Well,
Is this guy you're talking about? Is he just? Not
I
a
think
good friend?
Asian. I think Asians have a good, solid culture with family because a lot of them immigrated here and they stay
I was about to
close.
say that. Yep.
But back to the story.
Yep.
Sorry.
Super successful. He's also in real estate. He owns a company. He does investments. He's got a construction company. He does a ton of shit. And we were talking about getting together. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And he's like, cool, man, let's meet. I think it was like a Thursday. They asked me on Thursday. Where'd we go? Del Frisco's.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll meet at Del Frisco's and happy hour. Let's do it. Let's do it around happy hour. And I was like, cool, man. Hey, what time does happy hour start, man? Is that like a 4 p.m.? You know what he said to me? He texted back. He goes, Will, we're bosses. Happy hours whenever the fuck we say so. He texted that to me, and I just got all giggly. And I texted him back, and I was like, bro,
You're like, oh yeah.
that is the best fucking thing I've heard all day.
Gangster.
But it's true because
It's like a
so
thug
we,
life moment.
yeah,
it is.
It is. Yeah.
But we went out. We had a great time. But he's a super productive dude. So even though we were having a great time,
Yeah.
we were still talking business. So like, we're here with you. Is it a great time? 1,000%.
Yeah.
But you being on our podcast, is that productive for us? Yeah. Is it productive for you? I hope so.
Yeah, I'm
You
having
know what
a
I mean?
blast, man.
But when you're around successful guys, like that downtime or that fun time, like it's even more fun because you're with productive dudes that have earned their off time. But the off time is still productive versus me going back to some guy I knew from high school that like is still doing dumb shit, wearing his fucking Letterman jacket.
talked about that.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, nothing productive is gonna come out from it versus like being around productive guys and having the downtime there. Because even if all you get from it is just being around successful dudes and getting some good energy,
There's value.
that's gonna bleed into
Dude,
what you do.
I'm gaining a lot internally from being here. I was nervous, and I still am nervous. Like I still don't know how to do. With my, you know what I'm saying? Like what I do with my hands here, type thing. And you grow from those, and you have to put yourself in those scenarios.
You do.
Where uncomfortable is exactly where you need to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have stood on stage, and dude, I've watched the owner like,
Oh God.
like, oh, you're gonna do another break? Okay,
Oh, you do.
you know what I'm saying?
Dude, uncomfortable is where you need to be if that's in you. If you want to grow, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an artist, whatever, like if there's a fire inside of you, and it's okay to be scared. Well, I'm not talking about being scared. It's okay to be scared. But if you're that guy that wants to grow, you got to be uncomfortable. if you're not that guy, no, it's okay to have a job
all
and
good.
have a fixed paycheck
Like-
and to stay on the fucking porch.
I don't know about you guys,
Nothing wrong
but
with that.
for me, it's like no other option. Like I don't have another option.
As quiet
Right?
as he is,
Like-
he could not work for anyone.
No,
Bro, here's what's funny
I
about
don't have another option.
here's what's funny about
Maybe
being
he's
Eli.
not quiet.
Bro.
Yeah,
Are you quiet?
He's more
Yeah. I'm
he's
pretty
a-
quiet.
He's an introvert. He
I'm pretty
says. Fucking. But here's what's
am.
funny about Eli. Okay, I'm loud. I talk a lot. Bro, especially with our business, he is so much more fickle and fucking cutthroat than me. You just don't see it coming because he doesn't say it. He just stops working with you. Me, I care. I want you to be better. You're gonna get like 9 warnings from me before your ass is fucking out of here. Him, he just doesn't say. He just stops.
Did you play with Pogs? I feel like a lot of introvert people play
dude,
with Pogs.
I had the biggest fucking slammer you've
didn't
ever
you?
seen in
I
your
knew
life,
it.
dude.
I knew you were a Pog player.
I had a slammer that was like that fucking
with the
big.
2 fingers engraved in it,
I think it was like an 8 ball or something. Like
That's
you know,
a-
like the 8.
with a skull.
I feel
yeah.
like that was a butt plug,
Bro.
not a fucking slammer.
No, dude,
Fucking Pogs,
I had
man.
Pogs. I had the long tube that you
Yeah,
stored them
dude.
all in, and the
Yep.
binder.
Yep.
And I'm kind of introvert, you know.
You guys not want to ask me? Am I
Well,
left out now?
You didn't have Pogs.
You didn't have Pogs, bro.
No.
You didn't Pog. You had a
I
bike.
never.
You had a bike with a card in it that make it sound like a motorcycle.
That's not
Oh
true.
shit,
That's not
that's
true.
awesome.
That's not true.
Grimes, what did you collect anything?
I had a basketball with no hoop.
And that's why you would have been successful with or without the Marine Corps. 'cause
Yeah,
that
man.
basketball hoop.
You know what, man? I appreciate that because it's hard to wonder like if you would have been successful or not if you didn't come from where you came from. But guess what? It doesn't matter.
It makes it fun to think about it.
It does. But look, you come from where you come from and you do what you can. And I would like to think I'd have been. I think the Marine Corps definitely gave me some perspective. Definitely helped me. And I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes we hate the Marine Corps. We bitch about it when we're in it. But what it gave us that has been a gift later on is where it's been huge.
That's exactly what I was
like
gonna
you
say.
talk about Tosh, like right? So Eli met Tosh,
Okay, you did.
and he was like,
Intense.
"No,
Bro,
no."
Crocs and like cargo shorts.
Yeah,
Bro, he's
because he's
wearing-
tactical. He's
Right.
luring you in
Right.
to haze your soul.
Oh, here's the thing. I felt that. What you're saying, I
Yeah.
fucking felt.
He wants to be your. He
Yep.
wants you to think that he's your friends, and then by all means call him by his first name.
Dude, yep.
You call him by his first name now, or you call him Tosh.
Dude,
You know, like-
I would just avoid the whole. I would relocate
Oh my
myself to
God.
an elevated position and maintain composure
just
That's
maintain
awesome.
a
and
visual.
rally radio checks every half hour.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, I get it. However, man, again, just like you and I have been kind of gifted with the Marine Corps and wising and just molding and becoming a better dude, Tosh was the guy that gave me the analogy of like talking about Marines because he has a lot of Marines calling. And he has to tell some of them like, hey, man, let it go. Take the Letterman jacket off. Like, find a new mission. Like, yeah, I love the Marine Corps. Yeah, it was a big part of me. But what's my new mission?
Right.
You know, and dude, his demeanor, his thought process. He's got a podcast too. He just talks with, he talks to himself, because people are too scared to get in the room with him.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. But he's
not approachable.
Maybe I'm just cut from the same
I
cloth.
bet he's him in his closet, bro. Making it happen.
Dude.
Scaring America.
But I will tell
Crooked
you,
Butterfly, check it out.
well, yeah, it's a great podcast.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, man, like and I don't want to say he's come a long way. That's the wrong, because that's to say he was far off when he was in the Marine Corps. No, he was what he needed to be, right? But man, like his podcast, and so I go up to his house in Boulder, and we'll chat. And he'll kind of give me some advice.
He's in the same state as us right now?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, man. I'm telling you, that's way too close.
Oh shit!
that's awesome.
Well, right now he's in Bora Bora, but he lives there.
Is that out of the country?
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like it's out of the country. We don't have anything Bora Bora around here,
Oh
dude.
man,
I love you, dude. Shit.
I'm going like Bora Bora, Arkansas or something. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what makes me worry.
It probably is, actually.
Here's what makes me worry, because a guy like him is scared of Tosh. I'm like, wait, nah, he's just Tosh. And then go, wait, am I just as bad?
Yeah, is he just us?
Like, am I
No,
just
see,
as
I'm
Yeah,
friends
that-
with
yeah.
you. I'm friends
Fuck,
with you, man.
Like,
All right.
true. But he is, man. Like, and he was phenomenal in the Marine Corps. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I would think that he would appreciate me saying this as far as like just he has mastered. I don't want to say mastered. He wouldn't like that word. So let me be careful with what I say. He has done very well at growing. So once he left the Marine Corps, he continued to be productive and growing into a better human being. And I promise you, if you went to his house and you spoke to him, you would go, what the fuck? And don't get me wrong, he'll kill you in a second. But the ability of how in tune he is with his words, with his thoughts, how much reflection he does, and how he's now able to articulate that and give that as a gift on his podcast, in person, it'll throw you for a loop.
I think that might be the journey I want to be on. Is to be
He's in
able
his
to
40s.
have that.
I think we're behind. I mean, obviously we're
are.
behind him.
But
But
for
dude, it's
somebody to
phenomenal.
say that about us later on,
Yep.
it's that, I knew you back when.
Yep.
And then you meet me now, and I have hair down on my shoulders now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't, I don't know. I'm a little bit more.
Temperamented. Let me give you an analogy. So Tosh was on his podcast, and you're familiar with David Goggins?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not bashing him like the guy. I think he's good for what he is. I think people need him, so I'm not.
He's like a pro swimmer, right?
He's a Navy SEAL that's like
That's
ran
what
200
it
miles.
was.
Yep.
He swam at one point.
But Tosh has some comments about him, and he's not for him or against him. He just has some thoughts for it, or maybe he is for him or against him, but he doesn't say that on the podcast because what Tosh is really good at, man, is like giving you enough to think about. He's not going to make a decision for you. He's not going to take an overall stance on something because he understands, hey, if people are listening to my podcast and they like me, if I'm too decisive with how I decide to talk, they're just going to agree with me.
Would you say you want an answer?
Right. So he
Some
gives
of
you
these
enough to think
podcasts are
about.
long.
Yeah.
And then there's no answer. It's like your Netflix shutting off because of
dude.
Wi-Fi.
Well, fuck that. But he
Fuck
talks
that.
about it, and when you just say like, hey, like you're further along, the one thing he was mentioning about Goggins is like, hey man, you're doing the same thing. You're this rah-rah guy that's still yelling at people and yelling at yourself and this and this and this and this. And then he started talking about rank structure in the Marine Corps. And he started talking about being an officer and what a captain what a second lieutenant looks like and what a captain looks like and what a major looks like. And if he were to see a major going out doing what a second lieutenant was doing, it's frowned upon. You're wiser, you're smarter, you know how to like your temperament, because of your authority, should be different. And your delivery should be different. You should be temperamented because you're wise and you don't overreact and throw emotion into everything that you do. And he's like, come on, man, like you're still that. Like you're a character.
I still break down.
You know?
I still have mental
And that's okay.
childish. I do, man. And luckily, no one witnesses it.
Well, that's okay.
But
Because
that's,
I think that's what he's
that
talking about.
reflecting you're talking about.
Well, yeah.
You have to call it out,
Yeah.
or you'll be 45 still throwing fits.
Yeah, you got to make it
Yeah.
real. Yep.
You got to make it real.
Dude, I think, like, remember back in the day, we don't really hear about this anymore because we listen to Joe Rogan's and other guys. But when we were growing up, a very popular term was midlife crisis.
I'm in it.
No, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
I might be.
But
How
it
do
was
you- I
those
might
guys
be.
that worked in corporate America that maybe were just raising a family, but they weren't happy. They had a midlife crisis because they bottled shit up for 30 fucking years doing what they thought they were supposed to do. Now with social media and the internet and exposure and just thought processes and being able to be different in what you do, you don't see guys like Joe Rogan's having one of those because they're constantly growing. They don't have to look back and go, oh my God,
not stuck.
I'm 50.
Yeah.
I'm half my life or more is gone and I've done nothing. And then they blow their fucking lid.
Yep.
Versus guys like that have continued to progress and keep themselves healthy and make themselves happy. They're at peace and like you're not seeing a huge outbreak per se in the term midlife crisis.
There has to be a balance of consistency. Like you said, I don't know if it was your last podcast or the one before, talking about guys who get excited about something.
Yep.
And they'll like ruin friendships almost. And then it dies off within a week. Consistency's huge.
You said that.
Yep.
Eli said that.
Yep.
Yep.
And when people ask me, I had a kid ask me, how do you do what you do? You know what?
Right.
And Harry asked me, consistency. The music has been the most consistent, not maybe the most active, but the most consistent.
Yep.
At
In
night,
your soul,
in my
in your
soul,
being.
dude.
Yep.
I'm
In your fucking
shaping.
Yep.
I'm shaping the universe.
Yep.
That sounds crazy, but
Well,
you are.
Dude, and when it's like that, man, you don't need to find motivation to do it every day. You just fucking do it every day, right? It's like breathing. Like, you don't need to be motivated to fucking breathe. When it's in you and part of your DNA, like it is.
What if you had to be motivated to breathe?
Oh, my
Have
God.
you seen that
is
movie
fucking-
Timeless with Justin Timberlake?
Who's in it? Nuh-uh.
When they're
Oh,
timed
yeah.
on their arm?
Yep. And they got a certain amount of time, and they can, like, buy and trade it.
I cried in that movie.
Yeah.
When he didn't get to his mom fast enough,
Yep.
I cried, dog.
Yep.
And what
I'll-
if life
I'll
was
watch
like that,
comedies.
man? What? How would people? I love comedies.
That's what I watch.
Dude, what comedies? Have you ever seen The Jerk?
The Jerk.
Steve Martin.
Yes.
Yeah.
1985, baby.
Oh shit, you guys are going old school.
That's his first movie, by the way.
You two
Was
little,
it?
you little
I don't know.
potheads
It's a
over
good
here.
movie.
I don't know.
This one vibrates.
Hold on a minute.
right.
I want you to shove that up his ass, see if he can fucking do a little puff puff.
but-
you got to suck on it.
Yeah, you'd have to suck on it at the same time to activate the vibration. Yeah.
I'd have to come in at a tactical angle.
That's right.
you'd have
That's
to,
right.
You know, and-
you'd have to siphon the
full,
fucking
and I'll do a
vape
Will
pen.
Grimes, a full circle. Life's about angles.
Oh my god.
I love when I get made fun of.
I love you,
shit.
man.
Oh, I got a guy putting a bomb into your truck right now. It's all good. So now, if you
So-
talk too much shit, I'm gonna
All
toss
right,
you.
so we're gonna start tapering off here.
Yep.
What does 2020 look like for you, man? What kind
Yeah.
of shit you got coming up?
Hold on a minute.
Oh shit.
Did you
God
see my
damn
pause?
it.
I knew.
Almost.
I knew there was
Almost.
going to be an
Yep,
audible.
Almost.
Come on, Manning. I bet you would be the worst quarterback to play for. Calling audibles right there at the line.
You just better know. You just
shit.
better know. Look. I'm locked on. You better,
G17. Like, what are you doing?
you better know the fucking plays.
You
Because if I call an audible, it's real.
man.
and you'll hold us accountable.
Remember fucking Friday Night Light? What was that with Billy Bob?
Friday Night Lights?
Or Varsity Blues.
Varsity
Yep.
Blues.
Remember-
10. Fucking 10.
And he's like,
Yeah.
oop, and he starts calling oop de oop. Remember?
yeah.
And he dropped the ball and he's like, tells the coach, like, what are you running? He's like, oop de. He's like, what? Oop de fucking oop. Shut the fuck up. Run the fucking play.
That would be you.
Dude, I'd be
Here-
calling
see,
some
I would
shit.
be over there. I just want to be a receiver because I love this part about football is when the receivers line up and they point to the referee. They line up and they point. I don't even know. Are they pointing to the referee?
Yeah,
No
so
clue.
And the
reason-
referees is telling them you're good to go
do you know why?
for the line of scrimmage.
Line of
I want to
scrimmage.
be that guy. It's kind of like baseball. I don't want the pitch coming. It's like bull riding. I don't want you to pull the gate.
You just want to sit on it?
I just want to do the whole JT Adam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that, dog.
All right, yeah, I'm fucking out of here.
I want to do my gloves a couple
That's
times,
awesome,
hit my
dude.
cleats.
That's awesome.
Oh shit!
You're smart, bro.
You know what? I won't call
Fucking
it.
smart.
My audible was that white buffalo. We're gonna leave it alone.
The white
See,
buffalo. Let's
the
talk
bu-
about the buffalo.
Here's
No,
the problem. If Will was quarterback, that fucking audible would work, and then
Yeah.
you couldn't say a goddamn thing about it.
Yeah, you're.
That's
fucking
the
welcome.
problem.
Hey, but are you winning Super Bowl? Shut the fuck
That's
up.
the
then.
problem.
Hey, as long as we fall
I got
back
you.
on the fundamentals, is run your route hard.
Dude,
and block.
matter of fact, you look like Julian Edelman,
I
and you
feel
look
like
like a smaller Gronkowski. You fucking schmucks. Look
You
at
do.
you.
I don't know who that.
I'm Tom Brady. You're the two
Yeah.
potheads on the team that are partying.
Am
in Vegas.
I the receiver?
Both of you are. You're
I-
a tight
I'm
end.
down.
You're a receiver.
As long as I'm a receiver, like an X back.
Yeah,
I want to.
X-Factor.
I want to run X post.
take
X
it.
Factor.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't that crazy about how X Factor, American Idol, they lost like all their credentials. Like now, when you watch it, it's like watching.
joke.
It's like
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
WCW now.
Yeah.
You know, like you just can't, it was the judges that made that show.
Yep.
Oh, dude.
Well-
but if you think about it, man, it's the people that make everything.
Right.
Man. It's the people that make everything. But I'm gonna save the Buffalo comment. We'll do that in a different video.
All right.
That might be a Friday video when I'm making fun of pretentious people that are just being pretentious for the sake of being pretentious.
Right.
We're gonna leave that alone because it's not really in line. I'm just ranting. I don't need to be on my soapbox.
Why is it a white buffalo? Because of the snow?
the
Yeah,
snow?
Yeah.
It's not albino.
It's not even a special buffalo.
No, it's just
No,
a
he's
normal.
just at
buffalo.
home.
Yeah.
God
Dude, we
damn.
Just to make it
Listen,
worse.
We
stop
almost
it.
hit a buffalo.
Listen.
leaving New
shit.
Mexico.
Stop
one
talking
time.
about a buffalo because
All
I'm
right,
He's
we're
gonna
done
get
with the
pissed.
buffalo.
I'm trying to be a good boy. You guys are putting a tip in, and I'm about to go balls deep on that
All right, no
fucking
buffalo.
topic. Stop talking about
Oh,
it.
shit.
2020, 2
2020.
years.
20.
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah, we're definitely touring, man. So closing up 2019, we're going to do a New Year's show at the Fort Collins location at the Sundance Saloon with Colt Ford. Huge. Almost sold out. So go get your tickets now. You can go to Long Cut Official or Sundance Saloon. They're all over social media to get these tickets, but I do think they're selling out for sure. After that, we're going to kind of start off kind of slow, getting involved with some new people. And that's one thing about this and anything in business is networking and remembering that's a huge percent of what your growth is. It's not just doing, you know. So networking, we're going to do some of that. We're linking up with Bubba Sparks in Mississippi,
dope.
doing a mud pit out there, meeting a new booking
A
manager
literal,
out
a
there.
literal mud pit.
Dude, these mud pits are insane. Bro,
What happens at a mud pit?
we had a mud
Yeah.
pit in Maine, and we pulled up, and these people treat us amazing out there in Maine. They had weed, they had lobster. This is 6:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so mud pit is exactly what you can imagine.
Yeah.
It's a giant piece of mud, and people are running through it. Girls are in bikinis,
Yeah.
and we're playing music at night.
Oh yeah, dude.
And so we're doing that. Bubba Sparks and Long Cut's going to be in Mississippi. You can check out all the details on that 2-3 day thing going down. But then the hugest thing that we got happening, we're on tour with the Moonshine Bandits starting in March. And if you don't know who the Moonshine Bandits are, they're probably the biggest name in this genre, but also probably just in music. They've been around.
Look them up.
They're great. They're
Look
based
'em up.
out of California. We
Okay.
played their hometown. They came out to support us, and it took a lot of relationship and Demon Jones kind of putting us out there, saying these guys are what you want, and so they took us on, dude. And so we're gonna go out in March and April and prove to them that Long Cut is exactly what they thought. That's 2020 as of now with tours. We have a lot of new creative projects in the work that we'll be speaking upon, and you can get all this information and stay updated on all the social media platforms besides Twitter. I don't tweet. I don't like the word tweet.
You don't look like a
Yeah.
tweet.
I don't tweet.
No, dude.
The word tweet, I don't like saying
I gotta
it.
ask you though.
It's like
'cause
the word moist.
I'm sure. I don't mind moist. What's
I
the
hate
wrong
the word
with that?
moist.
Stop
I
it.
think of like
Stop.
when I
I
hear
know
when I
what
hear
you mean.
moist, I think of
What?
those eggs.
What?
Eggs in our MRE, dude. A moist, wet egg.
That's condensation,
An egg.
man.
It's same category.
Yeah,
dog.
moist. Yeah.
Moist and condensation in the same
Oh,
wheelhouse.
I gotta ask you. I wonder if you've ever been asked this, but I gotta ask you, and you can be neutral. That's fine. Are you a fan of any other country music? Do you have like favorite bands or country singers you like? And then, has anyone ever, like, when people talk to you and maybe they haven't heard your music, does Florida Georgia Line ever come up?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, they're
great thing.
popular. I
Yeah.
don't mind them,
You know,
and I'm not bad talking them.
yeah.
But I do
Yeah, you
think that no, I like him. And I'll tell you what, man. Like the first time I saw him was at a live show at Red Rocks. I didn't know who they were. I was at a Jason Aldean concert and they were opening up. And they've got good music, like on their records. Live, they do a good job live.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they're important for what I'm about to say. I don't know, but I think they were the first that kind of did country a little different. And then they're like middle of the road. They're not country singing, but they're not exactly rapping, but there's like they're kind of on the fence. However, they're kind of like Usher. Like Usher introduced a slight different style of dancing
It gives people a taste.
that let Chris Brown and some other dudes go
Yeah.
off. And I feel like
Right.
Florida Georgia Line is like they're talented, they're good singers, they rap, but they don't rap.
So how
but they
long has
sing.
Florida Georgia Line been around?
A long time.
Really?
Well, I don't know. That's subjective.
I don't know either. You know, I did not know of Florida Georgia Line before I knew of Bubba Sparks.
No, dude. Even I know Bubba Sparks.
And that's
You're
the
right.
thing
You're
is
right.
that when it comes to this genre, it is new to new listeners.
I should have been more clear. That's the lens I'm coming from. Is like
Right.
the ignorant. They've heard pop country.
Take your trash out on Wendy's night.
Yes, haven't necessarily heard your genre. When people talk about it, does that name kind of come up at all? Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, and I love it when it does because that's what our whole intentions is to go mainstream.
Right.
With the fastest.
If you're even being in the correlated, or at least if people have a reference of like, hey, is it like this? Kind of,
Yep.
but
it
more
is.
hip hop.
It is like that. You know, we have melodies, we have bridges. It's structured like country music, very similar to not only Florida Georgia Line, but a lot of successful mainstream artists.
Right.
And then we do put that twist on it with the genre of country hip hop by rapping and having punchlines and structured in a verse.
And the reason why I
layout.
say that is deliberate. Obviously, I know your music. I've been listening to it for a while. The reason why I said that was for like people on the podcast. Like, what's their point of reference? And I know a lot of people know Florida Georgia Line, so it's like, hey, if you like that different style of country, that's still country, but it's different. You're probably really gonna like the genre Long Cuts
It's
inside
gangster
of.
country, dude. I like anything that can make me feel like a fucking gangster when I listen to it.
And that's so our mentors in this game, Demon Jones, go check him out. The Lax, the Moonshine Bandits, Charlie Farley. These are names that have been around in this game, building up this genre, so we can talk about it today.
Your founding fathers.
They
per
are,
se.
man, and you got guys that are fresher in the game that are hooking and jabbing, making a name for themselves, and we're trying to link up with them and collab. And that's what's cool about this genre is that we're working
all in it
together.
together.
Right?
You're all in it together.
We want that person to go do something dope.
Yep.
Well, and you kind of need it because the more you get of guys out there doing a good job, the more that genre is gonna explode.
And I want to give a big shout out to Cypress Spring. You know, we just got off tour with those guys too, Tyler and Kalen, and I mean, those guys are in a transition as well, shifting what direction they want to go. And that's what's hard but awesome about this, is because you're not given this is what country music is. There's no parameters, man. There's no definition.
It's country people doing what they feel.
Right. And it's not even country people. My mom is not country. She listens to this music all the time.
That's a good point.
She plays it in her gyms, and that's where I think music in general is going. Even though we're getting very liberal with our language, our music, though, is tightening up because people don't want to hear that garbage anymore.
Well, dude, and you know what happened?
It is what it is.
You know what happened?
And people are also just more comfortable just allowing to, like, listen to more stuff. Like, for example, the very not cliche, but the popular joke you make nowadays, but it's funny and it's cool, is like the white soccer mom who listens to gangster rap.
Why not?
Yep.
She
and that's what
comes
I'm
to my
getting at.
show. She spends $120 at the merch table.
But hey, that lady is literally making it okay for everyone to dive into other music.
And
man.
it goes back on that Luke Bryan statement.
What makes you country?
What makes you country? That soccer mom, when she gets
shit.
in, dude. I remember my mom would take us to basketball practice. She had a cup. I never knew what was in that cup until I got older. There was margarita in that cup.
There's a margarita.
You know, and she would get off from teaching, coaching basketball, get us in that car, take us to practice with her cup, and gangster it up all night.
Yeah.
That's country, dog.
And
It's
why
because
can't-
there's values
it is.
behind that.
Yep.
I like it. No, and I do agree. And I do think, I get it. Some people say Luke Bryan is more mainstream pop country, whatever. The point is, the
What's
message.
wrong with that?
Nothing. The people, look, man, I'm in sales. We're in real estate.
Right.
Here's my deal. Are you selling records? Okay, well, somebody likes it. So you think it's mainstream? You don't think it's real country? Cool, your opinion. Don't listen to it. But a lot of people like it. You can't. That's like saying Kobe Bryant sucks. Hey, listen, you don't have to like Kobe and you don't have to like the Lakers. But if you're gonna say he sucks, I can't even talk to you because there's fucking numbers that say he doesn't.
We're doing
okay?
music in our fashion, and
Correct.
that's what is a blessing. Is the fact that we have an acceptance for how we approach a track, not approaching a track influenced by other stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Dude, you should listen to the album. It goes from Wide Bodies, and that's just straight up rap, to Voodoo, which was
Bro, Voodoo is cool, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and we're
bro.
coming out talking about the dark side of everybody, and not in a bad fashion, because we kind of switch it up and go metal. But I think everybody has that moment of excitement where you feel immortal, you know, and you feel.
I think you want to, and here's my thing.
You
with
want that
When you
voodoo.
go to the gym and you're owning it and you're conquering your fitness, and maybe look here. Let me take the soccer mom for again, and I'm not mad at soccer moms. I love them. We got a whole team of soccer moms. I love them. They're tough. Here's what I'm getting at though. Why not go to the gym and feel like a gangster or feel immortal? Like if that's your time to crush, and then when you're soccer mom and you want to feel like a frozen princess carrying whatever you got to be, like why not be able to put those hats on? You know, and I'm big on compartmentalizing. I'm big on atmospherics. The music I listen to when I go for a long drive is not always the same music when I'm in the gym. It's just not. And
what makes
I do
you
enjoy
smile?
that. My family,
You know what makes me smile?
me.
You make me smile. I like the guy or the girl that's in their car
Yeah.
letting loose.
Hell yeah.
And doesn't know
bro.
that I'm watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if they look over, you're like, hey,
No,
I fucking dig you.
I'm like ready for the look over though.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm doing this number, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I love watching that because
shit, I
that's
do too.
I relate to that even though I don't know that. And I learned something else about myself. I have internal road rage.
Intern.
Yeah,
Explain.
driving over here.
Explain. Like fucking progress.
Yeah,
circle.
dude, I never said such bad things about people I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Complete strangers, and I'm going off, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that those little moments when I witness a stranger just letting loose, it's like I relate to that
In the moment,
Yeah, because I
yeah,
do that, and I
yeah.
wonder sometimes do other people do that? You know,
Yep.
do other people?
You know what
do
I see, dude?
Weird stuff.
I see that shit and I get jealous
Right.
because I'm like, fuck, I wish I could do that. You know?
Yeah, dude. I want to play catch.
Yeah.
I tried. Now I know why my
Yeah.
grandfather threw to me underhanded. 'Cause I'm having shoulder problems now, and I played catch with this little boy the other day, dude. And I was throwing the football to him underhanded.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
And my shoulders feel
That's
great.
midlife crisis.
Yeah.
It could be if you let it.
Well, 2020 is going to be exciting, man, and I'd like to be back on this podcast on 2020.
Yeah.
Make that
do it,
happen.
bro.
And
You got a great podcast voice, man. I must say.
thanks.
Hey.
Yeah, you got a great. Not to take away from your podcast voice.
It's not
don't
as good as
worry.
mine.
Don't
Will's a
worry.
great podcast. Dude, one thing I loved about Will is that from the second y'all started this off, he owns everything that he's ever touched. And to be able to know Will as well as I do know Will and him bring you in,
Yep.
it says a lot about yourself.
Yep. Dude, I feel that way every
He's a
day.
very protective person.
I feel that way every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and let's talk about the thing you wanted to talk about, not the white buffalo, but you have it on there. It's
Oh,
on
shit.
there. Bring it up, Grimes,
Let's
What do we
see.
got?
because you're
What
gonna
do we got?
regret it when we go home from
Let's
here.
see
You're gonna be like,
here.
I
What do we
should have
got?
brought that up when you checked me.
Naked?
Naked or when I checked you? You wanted to bring both those up. I'm down for the naked.
That's a good story too.
Why did I write
That's a
down
good story.
naked?
I think because you and I were talking about being naked. I don't know
That was
in
your.
what fashion.
Were you talking about being naked in your training?
No.
Like that?
No.
The
Sear school?
yeah.
Oh, we ain't talking about that. You
Let's-
can't talk
let's,
about that. That's a.
Let's bring up
I'll
how
talk
you
about-
and I reunited.
I can talk about that with him, but technically,
You don't
per
talk about-
integrity
you
of
don't
that
talk
school,
about
you don't
sexual-
talk about
so
it.
some
You
other
don't talk
part
about
when
it.
you
I
were
don't even know
naked.
what you're talking about.
Some other naked
I don't
shit.
even know why I responded what you were talking about. Like I acted like I know what I was talking about because I didn't know what you were talking about. So I didn't know what you were
shit.
talking about
I don't even hear you.
or what I was talking about. Yeah, calling me out. Yeah. Oh no. Hey, listen, that's good. That's a good one. And I've mentioned that before. Manny called me out one time. I spoke about that. I was like refrying beans the wrong way, and Manny taught me how to make a real taco. That's not the real story, but he called me out. But
He's authentic.
he's
authentic.
You know, I mean,
No,
you can
Manny's-
tell by the way he wears his Dodger hat. He's authentic.
Oh, he's a Yankee fan.
Well, whatever.
Manny's a Yankee fan. That's why he was my homie, because
awesome.
him and I are Yankee fans.
Doesn't he live in California?
He does.
How is that possible to be
Listen.
a Yankee fan? That's
Hey,
like
listen
me
to me.
being a fan of Australian soccer. Listen to me. You know, like
No, it's not. Being a Yankee fan is.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna tell you. Can I tell you?
like I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan.
I know. I get it. Can I tell you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you really asking? Because I'll tell you the real story.
I'm compliant.
Okay. Being
I'm gonna use that one. That's good. I'm being compliant, sir.
being a Yankee fan is a gift from God. You are chosen to be a Yankee fan.
Yeah, I
Okay, the
believe.
Yankees choose you. You don't choose them. They choose you. So Manny has a halo, and it's a gift from God, like I have.
Yeah.
And that's as far as it goes. We're
believe
gonna
it.
shut the fuck up on that. Now,
Okay,
no,
well-
but he did one time. One time, Manny shed some light for me, and it helped. And we've all been checked, but it's good. But the funny story was, and here's where like it's good to be checked, even if you have good intention, right? Because normally we think about being checked like if you're going through substance abuse or if you're fucking up your life and people check you. No, like there's a lot of different times we can be checked, even if your intentions are good. JT had reached out to me a couple times because you know he was around some people that were in fitness and stuff, and I was doing that fitness company, and we just never made time to like meet up. But we were always trying. And I was just like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it," and I was getting distracted because I was so busy, and I didn't really keep track of like what mattered and different stuff. And he was at a fitness show one time, and I was there because we were just doing a couple of booths and different stuff, and I was kind of in a hurry. And he walked up to me, "Hey, man, what's up?" And I literally like, "What's up, bro?" As I kept on walking.
Oh shit.
Yo, bro, no, unacceptable.
I was embarrassed, dude. You know, like when you go to give someone a handshake and you just hung out
They're
there.
like, yeah.
and
No,
like
I
you try to
shook
play it off.
No, I shook the hand,
I know you did shake. The
but I kept walking.
Yeah.
And what? So he didn't check me then. He
shook
didn't.
the shit out of my hand, by the way.
I got
Yeah, it tends to do that.
I got big hands.
yep.
But he didn't check me like right that moment. It just kind of hit him, and it was inappropriate, you know, as far as like how you treat a friend or a Marine and a brother, man. And especially because he was on the grind doing his thing. You don't got a minute? Motherfucker, oh, you too good? You just never know how it's going to get taken. And some people in life, you want to, it matters how people take you. Not everyone,
Yep.
but to him, it matters. So we end up talking a couple years later. And he's doing his thing with like his music industry, and he's starting to pop off. And I was like watching, I'm like, cool, completely negating of what happened. And I like reached out to him. I was like, man, you guys got a good sound, you got good this, good that. You should get in the gym and be fucking shredded and like yada yada yada.
I know he was talking about the Pleasant Grove music video. I was on a 6 months drinking bender.
oh, no
And
shit.
I let my belly hang.
Yeah.
Which I was okay with, but I remember him a little bit more shredded. And I'm thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
stage appeal, just everything matters. And I'm throwing out my fucking 2 cents, right? And
like 5 cents, a whole nickel, dude. You got the nickel.
Oh, fucking nickel. Those are heavy, bro.
Yeah, and it was like a nickel that hit and like spun.
Yeah.
And like took time to stop.
Yeah. You just keep hearing it.
Yeah,
like,
just-
bro, I like how you guys are therapy for each other. When you like,
dude,
you guys are
I'm
brothers
so happy
through
right now.
You
I'm
guys are
telling
like
you.
brothers through like
Oh my
torture.
God.
Like fuck you guys.
Oh my God.
I wish. Hey, see my camera. You guys are looking at me. See that empty chair? I'm all alone. There's nobody on my side of that.
Oh my
No,
God.
but so I reached out and I was saying all that stuff to him, and he was like, "Hey, so first of all, shut the fuck up. Like we know what we're doing. We're fucking good at it. We're taking off, and you don't have a fucking time of day for me. Why the fuck are you even spitting?" And obviously, I'm cliff noting here. I'm not quoting it, but it was like that. It was like, "Hey, man, why don't you shut the fuck up?" Okay, like you're not a fucking know-it-all. Like that's cool. You're doing what you're doing, and oh, you're a big deal. Like now you want to throw your 2 cents over here. Hey, we got it under control. And I was like, man, big deal. And my intentions were good, but it's like, hold on a minute. Being a director of operations of a company and this and that, like, yeah, okay, and maybe you even got some good points, but I don't know if you're like too much into yourself or what. And I wasn't. I've never been.
Not at all.
All joking aside, I've never been too much into
Yeah.
myself. It just wasn't my lane to go telling him what to do with his shit when I had no context of his band, of his music, of anything. I just watched a video, thought it was awesome, thought I could help make improvements. And it's like, hold on a minute, man.
That bubble belly.
You don't even, but the bottom line is like, hey, you don't have any context of what we've been doing for years. So whatever improvement you think you can make from this video, how do you know we're not already doing it?
Yeah.
You have no context. You can't come in for 5 minutes and then tell somebody how to run an operation. It's inappropriate. And I was inappropriate. I meant well, but he still told me to shut the fuck up. And then I was like, no, bro, I get it, man. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, dog, I love Wendy's.
Dude,
I love Wendy's.
too.
I love weed. I love whiskey. I'm on like a Trey Dub. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on right now.
But the point was like,
Trey Dub, dude. I'm on
the
that
point
Trey
was
Dub
like,
living.
and the point was like, hey, look, man, no matter how busy we get, no matter how whatever, hey, man, we're fucking brothers, bro. If I see you in
I
person.
felt confident enough because of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like, I don't, it ain't like I walk around all day telling people to shut up, right? I mean, I take a lot. Everybody takes a lot. But when you have that history and that camaraderie, you feel comfortable because I know you. As a man, I know you. I know
like
you.
your real brother, dude.
Because I know he wants to hear that because he wants more out of this than that conversation.
yep.
You
But
know
I
what I'm
gotta
saying?
still give the respect, right? And what the person, like the image I don't want to give is like, oh, so when I was up and coming and saw you at a bodybuilding show, you couldn't even say hi to me. But now that you think I'm starting to be a big deal, you want to reach out to me and tell me what to do?
You still
What
got
the
your free
fuck?
hat. You still got your hat.
I get it. But it was a good check. And for me, it was like, I knew that he knew I was coming from a good place.
Yeah,
I know that he knows me, but it was a good check because it was like, hey man, slow down. Like you're grinding, you're doing your thing. However, there's just some people that matter. And whether it's JT or my family or whoever it is, hey man, like you gotta slow down
But
and
here's what that
process
is.
everything.
When it's somebody that you love, it's feedback. It's not check-in. It's not anything like that. But it's feedback. It's
well,
hey,
unless you're from the Marine
this
Corps,
is
some of it's like
but you know what I mean.
check,
But it
motherfucker.
Check.
but it's that clear like, oh hey, like how I think I'm coming off isn't how I'm coming off.
And it's not powder coated. So when I hear something from him, but here's what's fun about the Marine Corps for the most of us. I don't need it powder coated. He could cuss me out.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing cuss words, getting all offended. I'm hearing what he has to say. Him cussing, I don't hear the cuss words. If he's cussing at me, I'm understanding that he's either passionate or super mad. Both matter, right? So I don't get mad about why someone's cussing at me. I'm understanding why they're cussing,
100%.
if they're choosing to cussing, or like
And one thing
when they
I-
say I'm disappointed, like shit like that.
You hit like with me on that conversation when we talked about, you know, when it happened was like where you were, where I was, and like no
hold on a
one
minute.
knows that about people when
Hold
you're
that
talking to
thought.
them.
Hold that thought.
Holding.
Because here's what happened. The other
Being
funny
compliant.
part. I apologize. He's like, okay, man, I forgive you. And I was like, no, man, like, I definitely want to make right on that. Like, let me throw you a call. Because I called him. He hit fucking ignore. And I was like, dude, let me just fucking talk to you and make it right. And he goes, hey, Grimes, I'm not going to talk to you because you're going to talk to me for a fucking hour and you're not going to listen to what I got to say. Fuck you. So I was like, okay, if you call, I will say hello, and then I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. and I
dude.
shut up for like 9 minutes, which is more than anyone's ever gotten out of me.
And I appreciate it, dude.
And then we fucking laughed it off. But
Yeah, we did.
Back to that phone call was once we were on the phone and once I let him say his piece of like how it came off, I was able to shed some light on where I was at back then that he wasn't completely aware of. I got to hear more about where he was at. And it made us better, which brought a podcast together. Even now, a year later, brings a podcast and a friendship and a brotherhood back together. But
I took
it's
a lot
needed.
away from that, even moving forward. I started thinking about when I am just talking to somebody who walks up to a merch table and wants to buy a sticker and take 30 seconds to talk.
Yeah.
Like, give this person 30 seconds and hang out and be invested and interactive with them.
Yeah.
And I think that what I took away from that is that you never know where someone is in their life because of how social media's designed, how we put ourselves out to the world now. It's very different. And there's a lot of dark secrets that are behind that
It's
password.
safe to assume everyone is going through some super bad shit.
And
or
so-
super great shit. You never know.
That too.
You know?
And the flip side of that coin is if someone comes off if someone comes off the wrong way, or sometimes if I don't take something well, someone says something to me and it rubs me the wrong way. It's okay that it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But what we normally do, just human nature, in my opinion, is if I take something the wrong way, I'm automatically assuming they meant it in the wrong way.
Yep.
When in reality, they might have had the best of intentions. It just kind of came off sideways.
Yeah.
But we don't give people benefit of doubt. If I take something the wrong way, like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like, what do you like? So that's where you have to have some balance and have a conversation with yourself. Is like if something does happen, and that's why I appreciated JT's patience when he let me talk to him for an hour on the phone. Was, hey man,
It was actually an hour. It ended up being an
After
hour.
my night, it was an hour and 9 minutes.
because he got the first 9. Oh, you're so clever.
Yeah,
huh?
that is
You're
fucking
too
good.
little. Look at you guys playing touch butt, fucking hanging out. Fuck you guys.
You called it, dude.
I
You said
know.
that Eli and I were going to get along just fine.
That's funny.
But man, I did appreciate him letting me say, "Hey, look, man, I know," and I had to own it. You got to own your shit first. Hey, man, I apologize for what happened.
Right.
Here's kind of where I was at, and here's kind
I'm
of what
not
led it
Greek.
about that. I know.
I'm not Greek. You know what I'm saying?
You're not Greek.
I don't have that Hercules bloodline, that Greece bloodline. I go to a gym. I go to the massage chair, and I like to shower because they got unlimited hot water. And I live a very hasty life, so I got 10 minutes of hot water, dog.
Yeah.
Like I shower, I get wet, I turn it off.
Yeah.
I'm still in that mode.
Yeah.
It's working for you, dude.
So am I.
It's working
I
for
take
you,
bird
dude.
baths.
Dude, you got unlimited water here. I know. I can feel it.
He doesn't.
Unlimited water.
I can feel the
So per
unlimited water.
podcast, JT, this is an undisclosed location. This is a bomb shelter for all people.
on Progress Circle. we know.
Actually, this is just a hole in the ground with a bunch of cement, but
a
we
bunker.
have a 200-gallon hot water heater
Yeah,
that has unlimited hot water.
dude, I love the bunker.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't
That's
even
fucking cool.
I don't even remember how I got here, dog.
He drove 2 hours.
I was
to get
blindfolded.
here.
Dude. Yeah, 2 hours by
Yeah.
the way. Yeah, dude, I have internal problems when it comes to like my anger when for road rage, but no one knows it. I witnessed it today. I was driving this, and this guy wanted over, and I was like, "Not today, not today. I'm gonna be that dude."
Sorry, bro.
Because I saw you back there, dog, not wanting to get over, and you want to come all the way up here. Fuck you.
But what if
I'm never that guy though,
I
and like
know.
today I was.
See,
it's all right?
Today I was. That's why I live where I live, man, and that's why I write things that I write about. Is and Long Cut writes about things that we write about. Is this is where we're living, dog. You know, I am living out in eastern Colorado in a trailer park. You know, I burn my trash. I got tour buses and boats and stupid shit parked everywhere, and nobody comes to me. You know what I'm saying? And so it is overwhelming to like
When you come around it.
Holy cow, dude! It is a lot of people.
Yeah.
It is moving fast.
yeah, bro. It
Here's
is.
what's crazy, and like where we live, right, or like where so we're not gonna say where our studio is.
Our bunker.
The sticks, say sticks.
Rhymes with Four Seasons. We're in the basement of the Four Seasons.
Hey, didn't you want to freestyle?
However,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you got hold on a
No,
minute.
Grimes wanted to rap. He told
I
me
did.
he wanted to
Oh,
get down.
shit.
I do want to rap.
Oh,
Hold on a minute.
shit.
But what I'm getting at is perspective, right? Like where he's at, and then coming over here is like overwhelming. Versus you and I, where we're at is slow for us
Really?
because we're used
Yeah.
to Denver, man. Well,
That's
and
why
in-
we're here.
And here's the deal,
Yeah.
man. We're in real estate. I don't get to live where you live.
Yeah.
You know this, man. You can't just
You
talk.
can't even find a vet.
And here's the thing, dude. You can't just like if I live where you live, you can't and I just start talking about the market and different stuff. No, man, you can't just talk for market. You got to feel and live market. You got to feel and know areas. You can't just talk battlefield. You got to get your monkey ass in that battlefield and then have some context to what you're trying to analyze.
Well, I couldn't live.
So for him and I, we do got to live where we're at.
And I couldn't live off Progress Circle and
stop saying my address. I'm gonna have all these roadies. I'm gonna have all these super hot top shelf people.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Coming
I bet. Me too.
It's gonna be a bunch of it's a bunch of 20-year-old dudes, is what it is.
Hey, bro, how you get big?
They love you, man.
You got a trap workout. Yeah, I know.
20-year-old dudes love him, man.
That's all right. He's an influencer.
Yeah.
I do my best.
Can you kick a beat on there? I want to hear Will give it a shot.
Hold on a minute. We're not doing a beat. I did earlier. I was doing.
No, you can't use old shit.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
That's
Listen,
old.
I got two kids that are in that mode. No, I'm not. Listen to me. Listen. Let's talk about. I got one more point before we end this podcast. Some things in life are chapters meant to be closed. Him making fun of me while he's rapping, that one's done because I got a pistol under this table right at his nuts right now. And that chapter is done. Now, if I'm on his podcast, he can do whatever he wants to me.
That's fair. How about
I would never insult you. Not
no,
in your
it was all in
podcast
fun.
or
No, I'm being
anywhere
funny.
else. Now, if we were on stage and you were like doing the battle rap language,
Oh, shit.
you know what I'm saying? Then I'd have because there's body language to battle rapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you do the whole.
Is it like the equivalent to a fight where guys will like the posturing and then the push?
Dude,
but it's like the
no,
equivalent
you don't
build
touch.
up.
You don't touch.
Well, no, but the equivalent in like rap world, like
Man, you got to start
do you
off.
start tying your shoes tighter or something? Or
Yeah, you definitely need to have appropriate kicks.
You
need the right kicks.
Right.
So I went Converse.
Okay.
I got Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones.
That's a good battle,
one.
right? It looks like a good battle.
Yeah.
He's really gonna murk me.
Yeah.
But it
So-
starts off looking good.
You want to be able to come in with endurance.
Okay.
And make it to the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're not trying to gas out too early.
No, you don't want to come out there and
Too hype.
and fire all your rounds.
I feel like I'm listening to like a 8 Mile behind the scenes.
This is what. No, man. This is we way past 8 Mile.
Remember True Life, MTV True Life?
Exit
This is
120.
like Made, MTV Made. You're like the Made
No,
coach.
Eli,
I'm
I
like
had a job.
I want to be a country rapper.
You know, I think that country rap is designed for almost anybody because of the fact that everybody loves what we're talking about. So as long as you're talking about true, genuine material, dude,
and that's what's
good.
So, and think about that. So a big compliment to, and I can't remember who said it, but when we talk about country music, is there's no, for the most part, we're not going to get into like specifics, but for the most part, the culture of country music, they would sing about things to just embrace. They weren't trying to, like, and I can't remember who was talking about, but like rap and different stuff, they talk about things to make you hide or shield or just get away from everything. Versus country music gives you songs to embrace what you're going through and just live in it and get through it. So now when you add rap to country music, but it's got the same ideology to it, you're just embracing that same ideology through a different genre of music, man. It's a good thing.
And
values are still there.
Your music, like people like shit that makes them feel like a badass, right? Your music, you listen to it, it makes you feel like a badass.
Well, dude, that song "Wide Bodies," and I love the lyrics, man. I ain't even tripping, right? I ain't even worried about it. I ain't even worried about the whole system flexing on me. Why to ride in the lane while I'm texting homies? Throwing up what I got, Southern Made Texas on me. Riding a fashion that relates to the second coming. That's gangster to me.
And believe it or not, I wrote that in my basement.
That is fucking gangster.
That's where I got it from, was your bio. It was in that first page. And that's where I think Wide Bodies takes it this direction. And then you have a song like County Line. The grass grows a little higher where I'm from. I ain't the only one with a gun. Get a little dirty when we're having fun out here.
Country, man.
There's still
country, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have a song called Sweet Tea.
No, that's a good one.
Dude, sipping that sweet tea.
Dude, I was listening to that on
That's
so
good,
I was
dude.
I was listening to that on accident on the way to the gym. And I was in a great mood, not a gym mood, but I'm like, wait, hold on.
Gym mood.
I got to turn on Lifted Lambo because I'm
go
drinking
marinate.
fucking pre-workout.
Yeah.
Dude, that would make you want to go marinate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go marinate on that.
And
And then
it's
you
fun
got
to listen to the
y'all.
lyrics.
We say y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a
And
good
dude,
song
you'll
too.
have 500 people in any given state.
Repeating
bro.
it. Repeating it.
Dude, it's amazing.
How is it on stage when people start singing the lyrics?
I have
back?
this.
That's
I have
got to
this
be
verse.
cool, right?
It says, I have it's a little break in there where I say, hold up. Right. But it's like, hold up. That's how I say it in the verse.
Yep.
And so we're in Flint, Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
In the middle of my verse.
I got a
bro,
buddy from Flint. That's
and
rap.
the whole
yeah.
crowd goes, hold up. In my verse, bro.
Yeah.
It gave me goosebumps.
Yep.
And it really kind of
Flint, Michigan, they're rooted too, man. They got like Dayton family rap, like the
Dude.
two Dayton families from there. Like they're real, like
thug.
ground up rap.
Yeah.
Bro,
Basement,
where
fucking
we were
underground.
at, I didn't even know it. Like I went to the curb to go spit,
Yeah.
and the guy was like, "Yo," I was like, "What?" He's like, "You've gone too far." I'm like, "What?"
Jesus.
Like I went around the corner
Yeah.
where we were in Flint,
Yeah.
Michigan, dude. You don't leave. Like a light comes down out of a
Yeah.
You don't leave that
Street
radius,
light, yeah.
dog. No, it's like a Vin Diesel moment. You just scooped up,
Yeah.
eaten by an alien out there.
Crazy,
Yeah, dude. Like, what's that movie?
Oh shit!
Men
I
in
don't
Black,
know.
bro.
Pitch-
Like
pitch-
Men in-
no,
oh,
dude, like
yeah,
Pitch Black,
yeah,
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep a lighter lit in Flint, Michigan. You walk around with a flint lit out there in
Really?
Flint, Michigan. That's why they call it Flint,
Huh.
because you keep it lit.
They call it Flint because I thought it's called Flint because that's just the city's
Maybe,
name.
maybe.
But maybe they took that
I
on.
like that story.
Well,
All I know is I,
don't
got
know,
a
man.
look, man. I got a buddy from there that lived with us for a while when he moved to Colorado, and he's legit, dude. He was a tough dude.
Yep.
He ended up moving back, and like Flint, Lansing.
I feel like everybody in that
there's a
area
couple
wears
places,
hoodies. Everybody wears hoodies.
Oh, bro.
Everybody wears beanies.
Bro.
And you don't mess with people in beanies, dude.
Yeah,
Like, especially
bro.
if
Dude,
they're
you gotta-
wearing a beanie all year round.
You got
Yeah.
to find a way to get closer to Denver, bro. We
Yeah.
got to have you on some more, man. You know who he
We're
is?
definitely gonna do it. We're definitely gonna do
You
it.
joked about him being our Eddie Bravo earlier, but he's not. He's our Theo Vaughn. That's who he is.
You're only saying that because
No.
he's mentioned Theo Vaughn earlier. That's a
You did?
compliment.
I like Theo
Don't
Von.
play. You guys
no,
are flattering
you're
each other.
100% Theo Vaughn.
He's
I didn't,
awesome.
I didn't hear him say that, by the way.
I like
Only better
Yeah.
looking and a better rapper. I don't think Theo
right.
could rap.
You know what I like about what I like about Theo, and I gain a lot from him when I listen to his podcast is he's real.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that maybe you see some of that, and maybe I think that's a compliment because that's what I want people to see is like how I am peeled back
Yep.
so far
Yep.
to the roots, and I'm not scared to show you no more.
Yep.
I've been scared for so long, even in our Marine days when you sit there and you're screaming at somebody. Well, why? Why are you covering some stuff up? Because I was.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was, man.
Yeah.
Deep down inside, I really was sometimes.
And part of like what you're covering up doesn't matter because part of like, and this is why sometimes like the nature of the Marine Corps, like we try to use that. I talk about it a lot, but there's a lot of things there. But based off the nature of the timing of where our country was at back then, it's hard to relate everything. You know what I mean? And even if you were hiding some things or covering some things up or had some insecurities, it might not have changed how you had to be because I think we were all scared.
Well,
we
dude,
were
I
all
had
holding
nothing but
something back.
failure until the Marine Corps. I mean, I dropped out of high school. I was kicked out of high school. I moved to Burbank to become a child actor, failed on that, moved back to a house that had me with open arms and love. But, dude, I wanted more, and I didn't know what direction to go. And so I kept on going down the avenues of most risk, and it hitting failure hard.
Yeah.
And so when I got into the Marine Corps and I started hitting these levels of success, that was foreign. Like I was the company honorman out of boot camp, brother.
Yeah.
Out of how many Marines? Dude, my recruiter said I'll see you in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like boot camp's 13 weeks. He didn't think I was gonna make it.
Yeah.
I left on an accelerated program because I was getting in trouble. Nothing but failure was happening. Even though I came from a great upbringing, I chose that route though. It wasn't because my mom did something or I kept choosing to go down the avenue of most resistance. And I think that is what you did, and that's what you did, and subconsciously is we did that.
Well, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to find one of those paths that fucking works.
Right.
You know
Dude,
what I mean?
one of my analogies, like just because you're doing that doesn't make you a bad person, right? And one of my analogies that I use is like a Malinois or a German Shepherd. Okay, phenomenal, hardworking, very great dogs at paths of paths of most resistance and a lot of whatever. However, if you don't train that dog and you just want it for your house and you leave it in the backyard, he's going to dig holes, hop the fence, and fuck the neighbor's dog.
Yep.
Okay? Doesn't make him a bad dog. He just has no direction. And sometimes guys, like us that need that path of most resistance and need to be challenged and want more, we just got to go find that in a productive light. And then we excel. The hard part is finding that.
Here's what it is, though. Like, and this is why you hear a lot of successful people have really crazy stories about addiction and abuse or trauma. It is because, like, they trained with heavier weights.
Yeah.
Like, we got heavier weights in training. Yep. We got fucking stronger, probably because we were also meant to do something bigger where we needed to be stronger people.
100%.
Like, again, it's just not an accident.
100%.
You did it by you do it subconsciously.
Well, that's just like your inner,
That's
right?
weird. Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
It's weird because, like,
well, you're just fighting for more.
We could literally, dude, check this out. We could literally right now go get jobs and be cool.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Be cozy.
Yep.
I could drive a really cool car.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Not have to worry about groceries
Right.
this month.
But for some reason, I want nothing to do with that.
It's not an option. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
definitely
It's
not
not an
But
option.
every one of us has kind of done that and felt it too.
Yeah, dude.
You have to do it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. For people listening, if you don't feel like that, you might be happier at your job. The next 10, 15 years of your life might be much more enjoyable if you keep climbing the ladder where
You
you're
keep
climbing.
looking at that screen and it's on me, not
That's
you.
all right. That's all right. But like if you don't feel that way where it's like, it's just not an option. Like,
Well, I
can't
think
just
the
go get
biggest
a
thing,
job.
but this is why it's so important to just be true to yourself. Now, with that being said, be a little forgiving and understand it's going to take you time to find yourself.
You have to be okay with
a
that.
portion of yourself. I feel like I've found a good, solid portion of myself. There's still more to find. But through
That's
time,
exciting.
It's exciting, and I think I'm on the right track. But
Absolutely.
when people are listening to outside influences or doing what their parents think they should do or this or that or that or this, understand that you've just got to be true to who you are. Just also understand that that's going to take time. So if you're 17, if you're 20, whatever it may be, go try some shit. Because you're going to have some thoughts. You're going to have some fire in your belly to do something, but there's no label on it. You don't really know what that calling is quite yet. And that calling might be something to lead to something. Like that calling might have been the Marine Corps for me that led into something else, that led into what we do now. Yep. So just understand it's not necessarily an into it, but be a little bit more forgiving and understanding like, hey, I don't need to have all the answers. I just need to go try some shit. And not want, like, I don't want to do what my parents think I should do and this and that and that and this. Okay. But sitting at home playing fucking video games and you're not good at them, so you're not making money at video games. Let me be clear, because that's a thing now. Yeah. Making money at video games, great, ball out. Wow. But being a fucking bum is not an option. So if you don't want to do what your parents want, or if you don't want to do what your family thinks you should do, or if you're whatever, you're different, I want to be an entrepreneur, fine. But that should not be a cop-out for being fucking lazy. That's not what we're talking about. You can't be lazy. Like, you've got to go out and turn fucking stones. If that's the military, if that's college, if that's whatever it is, man. Go turn stones. I promise you, the more proactive you are in that, you are going to find who you are. Yep. And you're going to find some direction to be productive. But if you're using entrepreneurship or finding yourself as a cop out to being fucking lazy, no, man, like that, we're not talking about that. Definitely got to do shit. You should go to the Marine Corps so we fuck you up. Okay, you'll figure out some perspective. Go there. Okay. Otherwise, understand. Like, be forgiving. Right, like that fire in your belly. You don't have to know what it is by yet.
It's supposed to be hard.
100%.
And that's something I need to work on, is just being forgiving, and not only to myself but to others. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because the more that I start honing in on what I want to do, I find myself building walls at the same time, and I need.
Which you kind of have to.
Well, and that there needs to be a balance. Though.
Yeah.
You know, because I start building walls in directions that I don't want to.
Maybe put some gates on those walls.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna invest in hinges.
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna buy some hinges, and in one of those locks that it takes someone smart to open. You don't want everybody walking through your gate. You know what I'm saying?
We can't talk about anyone smart or not smart, because I'm gonna go right back to that Buffalo statement and fucking.
Use a realtor lockbox. No one will be able to get that fucking shit.
Yeah, no
open,
shit. Not even realtors.
I never knew what that was for the longest time until I got into construction.
You thought it was like the IRS, like putting a lock on someone's door.
I didn't know. I thought it was like part of the security system.
That's what you need on your. That's what you need on your shit. Yeah, your walls.
Well, thank y'all for having me, man.
Dude, it's been.
You're not going anywhere. We got some pizza upstairs.
I can't wait.
Eat.
And I'm also gonna show you guys the new Deer Killer video dropped tonight.
Yeah.
Check it out on YouTube.
We'll put the link on this.
Yeah, dude, I'll get you all the
on this
links. I'm
post.
excited about that. We worked really hard. We have another video coming out that's going to be featuring one of the singles that's going to follow that. And then I'm really excited about Voodoo. Voodoo has a music video for it. Want to hear Voodoo?
What are we?
I've heard Voodoo. It's good.
What's our outro today, man?
Let's do the outro. Let's do a little sweet tea.
Oh, that's a good
little
one.
sweet tea action, dog.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
perfect.
I'm in a marinating mood.
That's perfect.
We got some food for you, man. We're gonna hang out.
excited,
We're gonna
man.
talk some real shit after this.
Yeah, so we filmed Voodoo down in New Orleans right before.
Perfect spot for it.
It was, man. And what's really
Fucking
cool
cemeteries and all
is
the
that-
voodoo history down there,
Tell me about it, man.
bro. I don't know if you guys
blows
did that
my
on
mind.
purpose or not, but it's a voodoo
It
town.
is. Well,
Yeah.
we it kind of worked out. We had it in mind, and then everything just kind of happened in the right sequence for us to be there because we were about to take off from New Orleans to go to Cozumel, Mexico for the Kinfolk cruise, which you played on.
Yep.
Which that was a great experience. So being able to shoot a song titled Voodoo in New Orleans, we took advantage of the locals. We took advantage of the customs and the cool, scary locations. Yeah. And I can't wait for that to drop. So
Baller.
got some dope stuff coming.
But we're
down
not
range.
scaring you tonight. We're gonna end this. We're a little over 3 hours, man. Great time. Hope folks can
Awesome
take something
time,
from
man.
this.
Yeah.
But we're gonna exit this out, man,
Yeah.
with a little drinky drink and a
real
little
quick,
sweet tea.
throw your Instagram, Facebook.
Long cut. You know,
It's long cut,
That's
man.
it.
Listen,
That's
dude,
it.
country
You
music.
got long cut, really?
keep it fucking.
Oh, good job, man. That's
It's good. It's tobacco. It's
Well-
also a rap.
Well, I know, but that you'd think that would be a high demand screen name.
I guess not.
You fucking got it. Yeah.
So what you think Day $1 would be? I was the first one to ever use
Yeah,
that
that's
fucking
true, too.
hashtag. Day $1.
That was also
call your
surprising.
boys up.
That's right.
You're gonna need them on your back.
Long cut.
Head
So-
crack could happen when he swings
He's
a
about-
Louis bat.
He's gonna make fun of
It's
me.
like this,
Turn that
it's
sweet
like
tea
that,
on.
and there ain't another. I'm camouflaged by my lyrics, so you overlook my color. In the booth, I'll dub you.
you
Fifth
won't.
wheel went harder. I kill any beat, call me for the jam slaughter. Check the blotter. 10 tracks with no water. Got my hand in the game like my name was Vince Carter. My
That's a good
fame's
one.
like a daughter, if you know what I'm talking about.
do know
Instead
what
of getting knocked up, that track was knocked out.
Oh, shit.
Cock back and spray the clip, 2 off the haters list. Your payments late as shit. That's why you're using counterfeit. I'm counting it, every nickel and every cent. I'm gone off the head, so these lyrics aren't for seller rent. I guess I'm it. Put me in just a bit. My mama gave me birth on the toilet because I'm the shit.
That's awesome.
Sweet
Happy
tea.
Friday, guys.
Later, guys.
Happy Friday.
Appreciate you coming
Here's some
by,
sweet
brother.
tea by Long Cut.
Chillin' on a wraparound, fire burning high, and it ain't ever going out. Lifting on the stove, about to pass the ground around, headed to the stove. Pick me up a 5-pound. A bag of sugar, snag a whole damn slab coming straight from the butcher. Going through more ice than you can fit in the cooler. I ain't talking about the type that you get from a jeweler. I'm a habitual user, a sweet tea enthuser. If caffeine is a drug, I'm a substance abuser. A back road cruiser, a Copenhagen chewer. When we throw it down, I'm a whiskey infuser. I crafted up a masterpiece exactly how it has to be. It's colder than the Arctic freeze and sweeter than a Krispy Kreme. Heritage and history, southern hospitality, the values that were passed to me were the gravel and the pastures me. Sweet tea on a hot summer day, got ice cubes melt my worries away. Got no plan but to drink in my hand, and the only thing sweet is this old glass. Pour one up and tip it on back, got me feeling like, hey, a day like today, the only thing that I need is a sip of that sweet. So I'm gonna need some sunscreen and some green to top off and complete, to keep it all unique. So roll the grills out on the back of the deck while I'm feeling cone-fed, posted on the step. This life is too easy, I'm just getting by. Sunshine with the breezy, I can't deny. I'm hog-tied to a scenery that money can't buy. I'll comply when I believe that yours is sweeter than mine. Got my own cup labeled, branded with my name. My ice is so cold it could freeze up flames.